We all have habits we wish we could break, patterns that drain our time, weaken our will, and pull us further from the person we want to become. And no matter how many times we try to change, we find ourselves falling back. But what if the key to lasting change isn't more willpower, but deeper wisdom? Welcome to the ultimate Stoicism guide to breaking bad habits forever. The Stoics understood something modern self-help often forgets: that true change starts in the mind, with awareness, discipline, and alignment to our deepest values. This isn't about hacks or short-term tricks. It's about reshaping your character. In this guide, you'll learn how to recognize the root of your habits, take back control of your choices, and build a mindset strong enough to resist temptation day after day. Breaking bad habits isn't easy, but with Stoicism as your foundation, it becomes possible and permanent. Let's begin. Stoicism is not merely a collection of quotes and fleeting reflections. It is a practical guide for facing life with wisdom, courage, and inner strength. The teachings of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca offer timeless principles that can fundamentally transform how we perceive and live our lives. These ancient philosophers understood that true freedom comes not from controlling external circumstances, but from mastering our responses to them. The foundation of Stoic philosophy rests on the understanding that we cannot control what happens to us, but we can always control how we respond. This simple yet profound truth forms the cornerstone of emotional resilience and mental clarity. When we internalize this principle, we begin to see that our power lies not in changing the world around us, but in changing ourselves within that world. One of the most crucial lessons in developing emotional maturity is learning to be selective about sharing our problems. When faced with difficulties, resist the urge to broadcast your troubles to everyone. Approximately 80% of people genuinely don't care about your problems, while the remaining 20% may secretly take pleasure in your misfortune. Instead of seeking sympathy from the masses, cultivate a small circle of trusted confidants who genuinely support you. True empathy is rare but invaluable when found. These individuals will offer not just a listening ear, but wisdom, perspective, and genuine care for your well-being. The quality of people we surround ourselves with directly impacts our quality of life. Rather than constantly looking for the good in everyone, shift your focus to finding genuinely good people. While it's noble to see the best in others, surrounding yourself with those who consistently demonstrate integrity, kindness, and authenticity will enrich your life immeasurably. These relationships become pillars of strength during challenging times and sources of joy during good ones. Personal authenticity requires courage, especially when making decisions that others might not understand. Remember that no one else is walking in your shoes. Your path is unique, and while advice can be helpful, the decisions and their consequences are ultimately yours alone. Trust your instincts and honor your journey, even when it leads you away from conventional expectations. The opinions of others, while sometimes valuable, should never override your own deep knowing of what is right for you. The practice of gratitude transforms our entire perspective on life. The more grateful you become, the more you attract things to be grateful for. Gratitude is not merely a positive attitude, it's a magnet for positivity and abundance. When you appreciate what you have, you open yourself to receiving even more blessings. This principle works because gratitude shifts our focus from scarcity to abundance, from what's missing to what's present, creating a positive feedback loop that enriches our daily experience. Perspective is everything. especially during difficult times. Never let a bad day make you feel like you have a bad life. Life is like a tapestry woven from countless experiences, and a single thread does not define the entire picture. Even in the darkest moments, remember that this too shall pass. The temporary nature of all experiences, both good and bad, reminds us to neither despair completely nor become overly attached to any particular circumstance. The destructive habit of comparison robs us of peace and contentment. Every second spent comparing your life to someone else's is a second wasted from living your own. Your journey is unique and incomparable. Focus on your own growth and happiness rather than measuring yourself against others' perceived success. What you see of others' lives is often just the highlight reel, not the complete story with its struggles, doubts, and challenges. Setting healthy boundaries is essential for maintaining self-respect and emotional well-being. You can bend over backwards to accommodate others, and they may still find reasons to complain. Establishing clear limits on what you will and won't accept protects your energy and teaches others how to treat you. Your value is not determined by how much you allow others to take advantage of you. Healthy boundaries are not walls, they are gates with careful gatekeepers. The present moment is where your real power resides. When contemplating life's challenges, remember that no amount of guilt can change the past, and no amount of anxiety can alter the future. Focus your energy on the present, where you have the actual ability to act and create change. Release what you cannot control and embrace what you can influence right now. This shift from rumination to action is where transformation begins. Every person who enters your life serves as a teacher, though the lessons vary greatly. Some people bring lessons about love, support, and kindness. Others teach you what to avoid, how to recognize red flags, and where to set boundaries. Embrace all experiences as opportunities for growth. Learn to appreciate the positive influences while strengthening yourself through the challenging ones. Even difficult relationships can provide valuable insights about your own needs, values, and non-negotiables. Adversity has a unique way of revealing people's true character. You often see someone's authentic nature when you're no longer beneficial to their life. When you have nothing material to offer, observe who remains by your side. These individuals are your true allies, friends who value you for who you are rather than what you can provide. Conversely, those who disappear when your circumstances change reveal themselves as opportunistic rather than genuine. The decision to marry should be based on conscious choice, love, and mutual commitment, not social obligation or external pressure. Don't marry because you think it's something you're supposed to do. Your personal happiness and authentic desires are more important than fulfilling others' expectations. A marriage built on obligation rather than genuine love and partnership is unlikely to bring lasting fulfillment to either party. Time is our most precious and finite resource. You have exactly as much time as you believe you have, so make it count. Life is both brief and precious, making every moment an opportunity to create meaning and connection. Don't postpone your dreams or take for granted the time you have with loved ones. Express your love frequently and openly. Words of affection possess transformative power, strengthening relationships and creating invaluable memories that outlast material possessions. Growth requires stepping outside your comfort zone and taking calculated risks. If you've never questioned whether you made the right decision, you probably haven't taken risks large enough to facilitate significant personal growth. Meaningful development comes from challenging yourself and embracing uncertainty, as a sign that you're pushing your boundaries. The discomfort of uncertainty often signals that you're moving in the direction of expansion and evolution. Actions speak louder than words, and consistency in behavior is a more reliable indicator of character than promises or declarations. Never trust solely what someone says. Observe what they do. Judge people by their consistent behaviors rather than their grandiose statements or empty promises. Words are easy to manufacture, but actions require genuine commitment and reveal true intentions. Love cannot be forced or manipulated into existence. You cannot love someone enough to make them love you back. Genuine love is reciprocal and voluntary. Recognize your own worth and don't waste your emotional energy on someone who is unwilling or unable to reciprocate your feelings. Healthy relationships require mutual effort, respect, and genuine care from both parties. Words carry tremendous power to heal or harm. Once spoken, they can be forgiven but rarely forgotten. Think carefully before speaking, choosing expressions that build rather than destroy. The impact of our words extends far beyond the moment they're spoken, creating ripples that can last for years. Develop the habit of pausing before reacting emotionally, allowing yourself time to choose words that align with your values and intentions. External validation should never determine your self-worth. Don't let someone who treated you poorly make you think there's something wrong with you. Others' negative actions reflect their own limitations and character flaws, not yours. Maintain your self-esteem regardless of how others treat you. Your value is intrinsic and doesn't depend on anyone else's opinion or approval. The pursuit of instant gratification often undermines long-term satisfaction. If you're willing to sacrifice what you want most for what you want right now, your future will likely be filled with disappointment. Discipline and long-term vision are what build a truly satisfying life. The ability to delay gratification and work toward meaningful goals creates a foundation for lasting fulfillment. Sometimes solitude with peace of mind is preferable to being in a relationship that creates misery. Loneliness is not as damaging as toxic companionship. Value your emotional well-being above the social pressure to be in a relationship. A healthy relationship should enhance your life, not diminish it. If a relationship consistently creates more stress than joy, it may be time to reconsider its value. Setting boundaries often triggers emotional manipulation from others, but this doesn't mean you should abandon your limits. Sometimes you must say no and ignore the guilt trips that follow. Establishing boundaries is essential for your well-being, and you shouldn't feel guilty for prioritizing your mental and emotional health. People who truly care about you will respect your boundaries rather than attempting to manipulate you into abandoning them. Life often presents us with situations where doing the right thing is also the most difficult option. Personal growth and integrity frequently require making hard choices. Embrace these challenges as opportunities to strengthen your character and align your actions with your values. The path of least resistance rarely leads to meaningful growth or authentic satisfaction. Every action you take today has the potential to improve all your tomorrows. Even small positive steps contribute to a better future. Invest in yourself and your goals consistently, understanding that transformation happens through accumulated effort over time. The compound effect of daily positive choices creates exponential improvements in your life quality and circumstances. Life has a way of repeating lessons until we truly learn them. If you find yourself encountering the same problems or patterns repeatedly, reflect on what the universe might be trying to teach you. Break negative cycles by examining your role in these patterns and making conscious changes to your responses and choices. Uncontrolled anger damages the person harboring it more than anyone else. You won't be punished for your anger. You'll be punished by your anger. Learn to manage your emotions effectively to prevent them from consuming you and damaging your relationships. Anger clouds judgment and leads to decisions you'll likely regret later. Sometimes preserving peace and relationships is more valuable than being right. The need to always be correct can damage important connections. Humility and empathy can be more powerful than winning an argument. Choose your battles wisely, considering whether the potential damage to relationships is worth proving your point. The people you surround yourself with shape your life in more ways than you realize. Choose your social environment carefully, as subtle influences can have profound impacts on your personal development. Seek out individuals who challenge you to grow, support your goals, and embody the qualities you admire. When faced with decisions where there's no clearly correct choice, make a decision and then work to make it the right one. Life doesn't always offer clear options, but determination and effort can turn any choice into an appropriate one. Sometimes the act of choosing and committing fully is more important than making the perfect choice. Fear of making mistakes can be more paralyzing than actually making them. The biggest error you can make in life is continuously fearing that you'll make one. Mistakes are learning opportunities, and the fear of failure can prevent you from taking the very actions that would lead to growth and success. Emotional self-sufficiency is a crucial strength. Learn to be content and happy on your own. If you need constant companionship to feel happy, you become vulnerable to manipulation and dependent on others for your well-being. Cultivate a strong relationship with yourself before seeking fulfillment through others. You are not responsible for meeting others' expectations of you. Live according to your own standards and values, rather than trying to fulfill what others think you should do or be. External expectations can become prisons that prevent you from living authentically and pursuing your genuine passions and interests. Not every thought needs to be expressed. Discretion and tact are valuable virtues that can save relationships and prevent unnecessary conflicts. Sometimes silence is the wisest response, allowing situations to resolve naturally without adding fuel to potential fires. Life presents us with paradoxes and challenges that we must navigate with wisdom and acceptance. There are things we don't want to happen but must accept, things we don't want to know but must learn, and people we can't live without but must sometimes let go. The wisdom lies in accepting what's inevitable while working to change what's within our control. Personal experience remains the most effective teacher. Regardless of how many people try to teach you life lessons, you won't truly understand them until you experience them yourself. Value your own experiences as sources of learning while remaining open to wisdom from others. Every day presents an opportunity for reinvention. You can begin your life anew at any moment you choose. Today, right now, you can start becoming the person you truly want to be. Don't wait for perfect conditions or timing. The best time to make positive changes is always the present moment. Be wary of people who demand much from you while contributing little in return. Learn to recognize unbalanced relationships and appreciate those who contribute positively to your life while maintaining reasonable expectations. Healthy relationships involve mutual give and take, not one-sided demands. Protect 3 fundamental aspects of your life at all costs: your family, your heart, and your dignity. These form the pillars of a fulfilling existence and are irreplaceable once damaged or lost. No achievement or relationship is worth sacrificing these core elements of your well-being. Focus on where you're going rather than where you've been. The past serves as a lesson, not a destination. While learning from history is valuable, don't become trapped in previous experiences. Your potential and opportunities lie in the present and future you're actively creating. Sometimes it's not that people change, but rather that their masks fall off. True character reveals itself over time through consistent actions rather than initial impressions or words. Learn to observe long-term patterns of behavior rather than being swayed by surface presentations. Show respect to everyone, even those who don't deserve it. This choice reflects your character, not theirs. How you treat others says more about who you are than about them. Maintain your integrity regardless of how others behave toward you. Distinguish between problems that need solving and truths that need accepting. When you can't find a solution to a problem, it might not be a problem to solve, but rather a reality to accept. Wisdom lies in recognizing the difference and finding peace through acceptance when change isn't possible. Life continues presenting the same lessons until we learn what we need to know. Pay attention to recurring patterns and situations in your life, as they often contain important messages about areas where growth is needed. Avoid making permanent decisions based on temporary emotions. Emotions are fleeting, but the consequences of our decisions can be lasting. Learn to step back and evaluate situations with clarity before taking action, especially when feeling intense emotions. Sometimes the healthiest choice is to completely sever ties with certain people, regardless of history or difficulty involved. Some relationships simply aren't worth the emotional cost. Recognize when a relationship is more harmful than beneficial and prioritize your emotional well-being. True character is revealed through reactions more than actions. It's more difficult to fake a spontaneous response than a planned action. Observe how people react under pressure or when surprised to understand their authentic nature. Remember that how people treat you reflects their character, not yours. Don't internalize others' poor behavior or allow it to diminish your self-worth. Maintain your self-esteem despite unfair treatment from others. View mistakes as proof that you're trying. Each error represents an attempt at growth and learning. Don't fear making mistakes. Fear not trying at all. The willingness to risk failure is essential for achieving success and personal development. Love alone isn't sufficient for creating a happy, lasting relationship. Open communication, mutual respect, and shared values are equally important. Be willing to have difficult conversations and address problems directly rather than hoping they'll resolve themselves. Approach every experience as a learning opportunity. Maintain an open and reflective mind, understanding that each situation, whether positive or negative, has something valuable to teach you. True character emerges during times of adversity. How someone handles misfortune reveals their authentic strength and values. Use challenges as opportunities to demonstrate and develop your own resilience and integrity. Avoid putting anyone on a pedestal, as this creates an unbalanced dynamic where they look down on you from their elevated position. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect and equality, not worship or idealization. Every painful experience contributes to your strength, wisdom, and resilience. Difficulties in life are opportunities for personal growth. Learn from each challenge, allowing it to increase your capacity for handling future obstacles. Marriage intensifies both the positive and negative aspects of a relationship. Work continuously on improving your partnership, addressing issues before they become major problems. The commitment of marriage amplifies existing dynamics, making it crucial to build a strong foundation beforehand. You teach people how to treat you through your behavior and the boundaries you establish. Set clear expectations and model the respect you want to receive. Your actions and reactions communicate your standards to others. Take proactive steps toward improvement rather than waiting for circumstances to change on their own. Positive transformation requires initiative and personal effort. Be the catalyst for the changes you want to see in your life. Difficult conversations, while uncomfortable, often lead to breakthrough moments and stronger relationships. Address problems directly rather than avoiding them. The temporary discomfort of honest communication is usually worth the long-term benefits. Resilience is built by overcoming challenges. Each obstacle you surpass increases your capacity for handling future difficulties. Maintain your composure and keep moving forward, regardless of how painful the current situation might be. Sometimes not getting what you want is actually a blessing in disguise. What appears to be a disappointment might be a redirection towards something better. Trust in life's process and maintain an open perspective about unexpected outcomes. Self-love is the foundation of emotional independence. The more you appreciate and accept yourself, the less you need validation from others. Cultivate a strong relationship with yourself as the basis for all other healthy relationships. Loyalty and discretion are not always reciprocal. Just because you keep others' secrets doesn't mean they'll do the same for you. Be prudent about what you share and choose carefully whom you trust with sensitive information. Often, personal transformation is more necessary than changing external circumstances. Before seeking solutions outside yourself, examine how you might grow and improve personally. True change usually begins from within. Success is not guaranteed even with perfect performance. Sometimes failure occurs despite doing everything correctly. Accept that some outcomes are beyond your control and focus on your effort and attitude rather than just results. Inner peace begins when you decide not to allow external people or events to control your emotions. Your response to circumstances is your power. Cultivate serenity by consciously choosing how to react to life's challenges. Anger gives others power over you. When you lose emotional control, you surrender your ability to think clearly and act wisely. Learn to manage your anger to maintain control over your decisions and actions. Progress and achievement require sacrifice. Evaluate what you're willing to give up to achieve your goals. Success often demands trading comfort for growth, immediate pleasure for long-term satisfaction. Fear is frequently the greatest obstacle to personal advancement. Confront your fears to discover new possibilities and opportunities. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's taking action despite feeling afraid. Determination finds solutions while excuses find obstacles. Cultivate a solution-oriented mindset rather than seeking reasons to avoid action. The difference between success and failure often lies in the willingness to persist when others give up. You cannot please everyone, nor should you try. Accept that some people will dislike you regardless of your efforts to win their approval. Focus on being authentic rather than universally liked. Growth occurs outside your comfort zone. Take calculated risks to discover your true potential. The fear of the unknown shouldn't prevent you from exploring new possibilities and opportunities. Advice is filtered through the giver's perspective and experiences. Listen to counsel from others, but always evaluate it within the context of your unique situation and values. What works for one person may not be appropriate for another. Aim high rather than settling for mediocrity. The greatest danger lies not in setting goals too high and failing, but in aiming too low and succeeding. Challenge yourself to pursue ambitious objectives that inspire growth and meaningful achievement. Embody the qualities you wish to receive from others. If you want love, give love. If you seek truth, be truthful. If you desire respect, show respect. The world often reflects back what we project, creating positive cycles of interaction. Your actions and attitudes create ripple effects that return to you. Plant seeds of kindness, compassion, and positivity to harvest similar qualities in your life. The energy you put into the world has a way of coming back to you, multiplied. Communicate from a place of calm reflection rather than reactive emotion. Words spoken from hatred, jealousy, anger, or insecurity usually cause harm and regret. Develop the habit of pausing before speaking when emotions are high. Consider the impact of your words before expressing them. Language has the power to build or destroy relationships, inspire or discourage, heal or wound. Choose your words thoughtfully, keeping their potential consequences in mind. Your physical health is the foundation for everything else in your life. Take care of your body as it's the only one you'll ever have. Your health is your greatest wealth, making it essential to invest in healthy habits and overall well-being. Genuine honesty rarely needs to be proclaimed. When someone emphasizes that they're telling the truth, question their sincerity. Pay attention to consistent actions and behaviors rather than verbal claims of honesty. Base your self-worth on your own standards and values rather than others' opinions. Your intrinsic value doesn't depend on external validation. Cultivate strong self-esteem that remains stable regardless of others' judgments. Take responsibility for changing what you don't like about your life. You are the architect of your destiny, and each day presents new opportunities to build the life you desire. Don't wait for permission or perfect conditions to begin making improvements. Live with integrity by avoiding actions that require lies or cover-ups. When you act honestly, you can face yourself and others with pride and confidence. Integrity simplifies life by eliminating the need to remember fabrications or manage deceptions. Building others up rather than tearing them down reflects true strength and character. Your light shines brighter when you help illuminate others' paths. Greatness comes from elevating those around you, not diminishing them. Prioritizing your needs isn't selfish, it's essential self-care. You cannot give from an empty vessel. Fill yourself with love, energy, and positivity before attempting to care for others. This ensures you have something valuable to offer. True intelligence is demonstrated through actions, not just words. Cultivate both intellectual knowledge and practical wisdom. Let your behavior reflect your understanding and values rather than relying solely on verbal intelligence. Learn to trust the process of life and release the need to control every outcome. Sometimes relaxation and faith are more effective than constant struggle. Allow life to unfold naturally while maintaining your principles and working toward your goals. Taking risks is inherent to living fully. The only risk you should avoid is doing nothing at all. Every risk contains potential for learning and growth. Dare to live, love, and pursue your passions despite uncertainty. Since you're the only person who's with you 100% of the time, learn to enjoy your own company. Self-love and self-acceptance form the foundation for all healthy relationships and personal fulfillment. Overthinking distorts reality and creates unnecessary suffering. Learn to live in the present moment and focus on actionable solutions rather than endless analysis. Peace of mind comes from accepting questions without needing immediate answers. Don't worry about what people say behind your back, as their words reflect more about their character than yours. Focus on your personal growth and live according to your values. Your peace is too valuable to place in others' hands. Painful experiences often teach lessons we didn't know we needed. Pain can be a powerful teacher that awakens us to important truths and facilitates personal transformation. Each challenge prepares you for a wiser, stronger future. Find happiness independently rather than seeking external validation. True fulfillment comes from within and grows through pursuing your passions and building a life that brings you satisfaction regardless of others' approval. Confidence often results from acting with assurance even when you don't feel it internally. Your attitude significantly influences your results and how others perceive and respond to you. Welcome change as a natural part of life while maintaining your core values. Use change as an opportunity for evolution and growth rather than as an excuse to abandon your principles. Appreciate your current experiences rather than constantly wishing things were different. The desire for different circumstances doesn't guarantee they would be better. Focus on creating a better future from where you are now. Life doesn't become easier, we become stronger and more adaptable. Celebrate your growth and increased capacity to handle challenges. Each difficulty you overcome builds your resilience and confidence. Your response to failure and mistakes defines your character more than the errors themselves. How you handle setbacks reveals your true nature and determination. Use failures as stepping stones rather than roadblocks. Maintain emotional independence while building relationships. People will disappoint you, so avoid placing all your trust and well-being in others' hands. Develop inner strength as your most reliable foundation. Hard work doesn't guarantee success, but laziness almost certainly guarantees failure. Persistence opens doors that talent alone cannot. Be relentless in your efforts while remaining flexible in your methods. Seek internal validation rather than constant approval from others. Your worth isn't measured by external applause, but by the peace that comes from being true to yourself. Cultivate self-acceptance as the foundation for genuine happiness. Face your fears and anxieties with calm determination. The power of fear diminishes when confronted with serenity. Embrace tranquility as your most effective weapon against worry and stress. Aim for progress rather than perfection. The pursuit of perfection can be paralyzing, while focusing on improvement empowers action. Celebrate each step forward, no matter how small, as part of your ongoing transformation. Your personal value is non-negotiable. Never settle for anyone or anything that diminishes your worth. You are a masterpiece in progress. Surround yourself with people who nurture your growth and respect your unique essence. Establish and maintain healthy boundaries to protect your time, energy, and priorities. Every yes to one thing is a no to something else. Honor your limits and well-being rather than constantly trying to please others. Remember that happiness is a way of traveling through life, not a destination to reach. Find joy in the process, in small moments, and in daily experiences. When you embrace happiness as a journey, it naturally accompanies you. Personal growth often requires leaving behind previous versions of yourself. Embrace your evolution and allow your authentic, renewed self to emerge rather than trying to return to who you once were. Maintain a positive and realistic self-image regardless of others' opinions. Your view of yourself is the most crucial perspective. Cultivate self-appreciation and confidence that shines regardless of external recognition. Approach life with humility and openness to learning. Accept that you might be wrong, and every experience becomes a valuable lesson for growth. The willingness to question your assumptions opens doors to wisdom. Take responsibility for creating the life you want rather than expecting others to provide it. The sense of entitlement is limiting, while personal initiative is liberating. Assume control of your destiny and discover your inner power. Accept that life includes experiences you must learn from, even when they're difficult or unwanted. Embrace change and find strength in adaptability. Growth often comes through accepting challenging circumstances. Achieve your goals through consistency and discipline rather than hoping for magical solutions. Dreams become reality through daily work and unwavering dedication. Transform your aspirations into habits and watch impossibilities become inevitable. Practice gratitude for what you have while using it to create positive change. Appreciation transforms ordinary experiences into extraordinary ones. Live each day as both a gift and an opportunity to make a difference. Recognize that some enemies disguise themselves as friends. Betrayal masked as loyalty is particularly painful. Build relationships based on authenticity and transparency to distinguish genuine connections from false facades. Judge people by their actions rather than their words. Behavior reveals truth more accurately than speech. Observe what people do consistently to understand their real intentions and values. Don't limit yourself based on your lowest moments. Your struggles don't define your potential. Use challenges as stepping stones rather than barriers, discovering reserves of strength you didn't know you possessed. Live with purpose and urgency, treating each day as irreplaceable. Only postpone what you're willing to leave undone at death. Create the legacy you want to leave through daily intentional actions. Understand that adversity often accelerates progress toward goals. Challenges can be catalysts for growth and achievement. Embrace difficulties as stepping stones rather than obstacles on your path to success. Accept responsibility for your circumstances rather than making excuses. The power to change your life lies in acknowledging your role in creating it. Responsibility is the first step toward meaningful transformation. Learn from mistakes rather than dwelling on them obsessively. Each error is a lesson in disguise. Convert stumbling blocks into stepping stones for growth rather than allowing them to become chains binding you to the past. Surround yourself with people who expand your thinking and challenge your perspectives. Seek connections that nurture your intellect and broaden your horizons rather than simply expanding your social circle. Make important decisions from a place of emotional balance rather than extreme feelings. Intense emotions can cloud judgment. Cultivate equanimity to act with wisdom regardless of emotional fluctuations. Practice empathy by treating others with the compassion you hope to receive. Understanding often comes through experiencing similar situations yourself. Extend kindness based on your own need for understanding. Protect your energy and space from those who drain rather than nourish. Healthy relationships should uplift and support, not exhaust and diminish. Be selective about whom you allow into your inner circle. Choose peace and personal growth over revenge when wronged. True strength lies in restraint and wisdom rather than retaliation. Focus on your own development rather than seeking to harm those who have hurt you. Control what you can and accept what you cannot. Your energy is best invested in areas where you have actual influence. This focus creates empowerment and reduces frustration over unchangeable circumstances. Balance humility with confidence in your ability to overcome setbacks. Resilience comes from recognizing both your vulnerability and your strength. Cultivate the wisdom to know you can lose everything and the confidence to know you can recover. Remember that every effort represents progress, regardless of immediate results. Success is a journey of continuous improvement rather than a final destination. Celebrate each attempt as a step forward in your evolution. Focus on personal development rather than criticizing others. Growth is the antidote to judgment. When you're busy improving yourself, you naturally have less time and inclination to find fault with others. Balance rational analysis with intuitive wisdom. The best decisions often require more than pure logic. Develop your ability to know when to trust your mind and when to follow your heart. Master your thoughts since they shape your reality. What you give power to has power over you. Cultivate a mindset that empowers and elevates you rather than one that limits and diminishes your potential. Train your mind with the same dedication you would apply to physical fitness. Mental discipline is crucial for success in all areas of life. Develop consistency and determination in your thought patterns and mental habits. Choose courage over comfort when facing life's challenges. Bravery isn't the absence of fear, but the determination to act despite it. Growth and meaningful achievement require stepping beyond what feels safe and familiar. Recognize that life doesn't wait for you to feel ready. Move forward even when you don't feel completely prepared. Personal development happens outside your comfort zone, often requiring action before confidence fully develops. Maintain your dignity and self-respect in all relationships. Love should elevate rather than degrade. Establish clear boundaries and refuse to accept poor treatment regardless of your feelings for someone. Live with integrity by being honest in all your dealings. Truth simplifies life by eliminating the need to remember lies or manage deceptions. Honesty may be difficult initially, but ultimately creates freedom and peace. Act with integrity in the present moment, since it's the only time you truly possess. Each correct action builds both character and the future you desire. Don't postpone doing what's right. Let your actions speak louder than your words when demonstrating self-confidence. Authentic confidence is quiet and powerful. Build your worth through your behavior rather than trying to convince others verbally. Learn to miss people without wanting them to return to your life. Personal growth sometimes involves letting go with love. Honor memories without clinging to the past, allowing space for new experiences and relationships. Accept that challenges are necessary for growth and strength. Life's difficulties serve as training for your soul. Each obstacle overcome increases your capacity to handle future challenges with grace and wisdom. Acknowledge that not all connections are meant to be permanent. Some people belong in your heart, but not in your active life. Appreciate what relationships have given you while allowing natural endings to occur. Build genuine self-esteem through worthy actions and choices. Authentic self-respect comes from living according to your values and creating a life you can be proud of through daily decisions. Resist the temptation of immediate gratification when it compromises long-term goals. True satisfaction requires vision and patience. Invest in your future by resisting momentary temptations that don't serve your larger purpose. Don't fear establishing boundaries in relationships. If people distance themselves because of your limits, you're better off without them. Mutual respect is fundamental to healthy connections. Accept that some apologies will never come and learn to find peace without them. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself rather than something you do for others. Release expectations and move forward with emotional freedom. Understand that change begins with a single decision. You can start transforming your life at any moment by choosing to move toward what you want rather than staying where you are. Value patience and character development over rapid success. Slow, steady progress builds stronger foundations than quick achievements. The journey of growth is as important as reaching your destination. Protect your focus and attention from distractions that pull you away from your goals. Your attention is your most valuable resource. Guard it carefully to ensure you can manifest your dreams and aspirations. Dare to be different rather than following the crowd. Exceptional results require the courage to take unconventional paths. Don't lose yourself by tolerating behavior that compromises your values or diminishes your essence. Use your energy to build the life you want rather than escaping from your current situation. Transformation begins in the present moment. Take conscious steps toward your aspirations instead of seeking distractions. Maintain your integrity regardless of others' behavior toward you. Authenticity attracts what belongs in your life and repels what doesn't. Trust that being genuine will bring you the right people and opportunities. Develop self-knowledge to free yourself from the fear of missing out on things not meant for you. Understanding yourself brings clarity and peace. Confidence in your unique path eliminates anxiety about others' choices and achievements. Keep your promises to yourself with the same respect you show others. Personal integrity forms the foundation of self-confidence. Treat your commitments to yourself as seriously as you would external obligations. Don't let your past limit your future potential. The present is where your power resides. Honor your experiences while refusing to let them define what's possible for you moving forward. Accept truths about yourself without running away from self-reflection. Honest self-examination is the path to personal evolution. Face your realities with courage, knowing that acceptance is where transformation begins. Understand that perseverance transforms temporary failures into eventual success. Every attempt is a learning opportunity, and true failure only occurs when you stop trying altogether. Take responsibility for your life rather than blaming others for your problems. When you blame external factors, you give away your power to create change. Empowerment begins with accepting your role in your circumstances. Build trust gradually through consistent actions rather than blind faith. Allow trust to develop naturally over time through demonstrated reliability and integrity rather than immediate, complete vulnerability. Focus on understanding yourself rather than seeking approval from others. Your inner peace doesn't depend on external validation. Trust your intuition and values as the most reliable guides for your personal journey. Appreciate the urgency of time and live each day with intention. Don't assume you'll always have more time later. Be proactive in pursuing your dreams and expressing love, making each day count toward your larger purposes. Make daily progress rather than waiting for motivation or perfect conditions. consistent forward movement. Today we explore how to begin each day with a Stoic mindset, understanding that the way we start our mornings can define the tone for everything that follows. The manner in which we greet the dawn sets the stage for our entire daily experience, influencing our thoughts, emotions, and actions throughout the hours ahead. Stoicism, a timeless and ancient philosophy that has guided countless individuals through life's challenges, offers us invaluable lessons about this crucial morning period. The great Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius reminds us of the extraordinary privilege of being alive, of having the capacity to breathe, think, enjoy, and love. Instead of allowing stress, irritability, or negative moods to dominate our early hours, we can consciously adopt a more positive and aware perspective. The ancient Stoics understood that our morning routine is not merely a series of mundane tasks to complete before rushing into our day, but rather a sacred opportunity to align ourselves with wisdom, virtue, and purpose. They recognized that these first moments of consciousness each day are precious gifts that allow us to set our intentions, prepare our minds, and cultivate the inner strength necessary to face whatever challenges or opportunities await us. Through their teachings, we learn that the morning hours are when we can most effectively practice the fundamental Stoic principle of focusing on what is within our control while accepting what lies beyond our influence. The philosophy of Stoicism teaches us that external circumstances do not determine our happiness or peace of mind. Rather, it is our response to these circumstances that shapes our experience of life. This understanding becomes particularly powerful when applied to our morning routine, as it transforms what could be a stressful rush into an opportunity for mindful preparation and intentional living. When we approach our mornings with Stoic wisdom, we are not merely preparing our bodies for the day ahead, but we are also fortifying our minds and spirits with the resilience, clarity, and wisdom needed to navigate life's complexities with grace and purpose. By learning and applying these ancient principles to our modern morning routines, we can experience a profound transformation in how we perceive and engage with our daily lives. The Stoic approach to mornings is not about perfection or rigid adherence to complicated rituals, but rather about cultivating awareness, intentionality, and inner strength through simple yet powerful practices. These practices, when consistently applied, have the potential to create ripple effects that extend far beyond our morning hours, influencing our relationships, our work, our decision-making, and our overall sense of fulfillment and well-being. Let us embark on this journey together, discovering how changing our morning perspective through the lens of Stoicism can lead to a more balanced, peaceful, and meaningful life. Through exploring these timeless principles and their practical applications, we can transform our mornings from mere preparation time into powerful foundation-building moments that support our highest aspirations and deepest values. The first and perhaps most crucial practice for cultivating a Stoic morning is to resist the immediate urge to reach for our digital devices upon waking. In our fast-paced, hyper-connected world, many of us have developed the instinctive habit of grabbing our smartphones the moment we open our eyes, immediately immersing ourselves in the digital whirlwind of notifications, news, and social media updates. However, this practice, while seemingly innocent, can have profound negative effects on our mental clarity, emotional state, and ability to maintain focus throughout the day. The ancient Stoics, particularly Seneca, warned us about the waste of valuable time and the importance of protecting our mental space from external chaos. When we begin our day by absorbing external information before we have connected with ourselves, we are essentially allowing the outside world's turmoil to infiltrate our consciousness before we have established our own sense of center and purpose. This is like opening the floodgates to a river of distraction before we have built the necessary banks to contain and direct the flow. Consider your mind as a freshly watered garden at dawn, pure and full of potential. When you immediately check your phone upon waking, you are essentially planting weeds in this pristine mental space instead of carefully selected seeds of intention and purpose. The early morning hours represent a precious opportunity to nurture this mental garden with something far more enriching than the endless stream of digital noise that awaits our attention. Instead of reaching for your device, consider beginning your day with a brief period of meditation, a moment of gratitude, or simply enjoying the peaceful silence of the morning. These practices act as seeds of productivity and serenity that will grow and flourish throughout your day. Marcus Aurelius wisely observed that the quality of our thoughts shapes the happiness of our lives. When we flood our minds with digital noise from the moment we wake, we are sabotaging our mental clarity and daily purpose before we have even fully emerged from sleep. Our brains function like eager sponges, absorbing everything we present to them in these vulnerable morning moments. If we feed our minds with worries, distractions, and the problems of the world before we have established our own emotional equilibrium, this negative input will influence our processing throughout the entire day. The morning hours are when our minds are most receptive and malleable, making it crucial that we choose our mental inputs with great care and intention. Challenge yourself to start your day differently by leaving your phone aside and gifting yourself with the treasure of morning silence. Take deep breaths, reflect on your intentions for the day ahead, and establish a positive framework for the hours to come. This small but significant change can dramatically transform your perspective and resilience when facing daily challenges. Remember, you are the gardener of your mind, and it deserves to be tended with care from the very first ray of sunlight. The digital world can wait. Your well-being deserves priority, and your peace of mind is worth protecting. The second crucial practice involves refusing to surrender to negativity upon waking. Many of us fall into the trap of immediately complaining about interrupted sleep, the arrival of Monday morning, or any number of minor inconveniences that greet us as we transition from sleep to consciousness. However, this negative attitude can cast a dark shadow over our entire day, influencing our mood, our interactions with others, and our ability to see opportunities and solutions clearly. Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, taught us that events themselves do not disturb us, but rather our interpretations and reactions to these events determine our experience. This profound insight can revolutionize how we approach our morning moments and, by extension, our entire day. Think of your mind as a garden where complaints and negative thoughts are like weeds that choke out positive growth and block the sunlight needed for flourishing. Instead of cultivating these mental weeds, consider planting seeds of gratitude from the moment you open your eyes. Marcus Aurelius observed with timeless wisdom that the quality of our thoughts determines the happiness of our lives. Upon waking, rather than immediately sinking into complaints and grievances, challenge yourself to identify 3 specific reasons to feel grateful. These don't need to be grand or life-changing things. They can be as simple as the aroma of freshly brewed coffee, the warmth of morning sunlight streaming through your window, or the anticipation of connecting with a dear friend later in the day. This practice is not about toxic positivity or forcing artificial cheerfulness, but rather about training our minds to notice and appreciate the genuine goodness that surrounds us. It's a powerful tool for reorienting our mental compass toward hope and possibility rather than complaint and limitation. Our brains function like emotional GPS systems, and the initial direction we choose upon waking influences our entire journey through the day. Beginning with gratitude is like programming a positive destination into our mental navigation system, leading us to notice more joy, beauty, and opportunity throughout our daily travels. This practice of morning gratitude not only elevates our mood, but also strengthens our resilience when facing inevitable obstacles and challenges. When we train ourselves to start each day by acknowledging the good in our lives, we build a foundation of appreciation that can support us through difficult moments. It's like creating a reservoir of positive energy that we can draw from when we encounter stress, frustration, or disappointment. Visualize waking up and, instead of immediately complaining about something, taking a deep breath and expressing gratitude for the opportunity of a new beginning, for the comfort and safety of your home, or for the love that surrounds your life. This simple shift in perspective can serve as a catalyst for transforming not only your morning, but your entire daily experience. Remember, complaining is easy, but rarely productive, while gratitude is like a muscle that grows stronger with regular exercise. The more we practice appreciation, the more natural and automatic it becomes. The third essential practice involves rejecting the temptation of procrastination and instead rising from bed with energy and enthusiasm for embracing the day ahead. The habit of repeatedly hitting the snooze button is far more detrimental than most people realize. This seemingly harmless practice can sabotage our energy levels and productivity for the entire day, creating a pattern of delay and avoidance that extends far beyond our morning routine. When we succumb to the temptation of just 10 more minutes of sleep, we enter incomplete sleep cycles that leave us feeling more tired and disoriented throughout the day rather than more rested. These fragmented sleep periods confuse our natural circadian rhythms and can lead to what sleep researchers call sleep inertia, a groggy, confused state that can persist for hours after waking. The Stoic philosophers offer us valuable lessons about discipline and self-control that directly apply to this morning challenge. Epictetus taught that true freedom lies in mastery over ourselves, while Marcus Aurelius reminds us of the importance of gratitude and purpose upon waking. We can transform the moment of awakening into a celebration of life itself, viewing each morning as a precious gift rather than an unwelcome interruption of our rest. Instead of fighting against the alarm clock, we can learn to receive each morning as a new opportunity for growth, learning, and meaningful contribution to the world. Upon waking, we can reflect on the extraordinary privilege of being alive, of having the capacity to breathe, think, love, and experience the incredible richness of human existence. This shift in perspective fills us with natural energy and enthusiasm while establishing a positive tone for everything that follows. Rising immediately when the alarm sounds is an act of self-discipline that strengthens our determination and proactive mindset. It's a small but significant victory that sets the stage for larger successes throughout the day. This practice demonstrates to ourselves that we are capable of following through on our commitments and acting in alignment with our intentions rather than being controlled by momentary impulses or comfort-seeking behaviors. Visualize beginning your day with mental clarity and physical readiness instead of dragging yourself out of bed, feeling guilty and behind schedule. This simple act of purposeful awakening can serve as a catalyst for profound transformation in your daily routine. When we honor our commitment to rise when we intended to rise, we build trust with ourselves and create momentum that carries forward into other areas of our lives. The fourth vital practice focuses on the importance of proper hydration to awaken both body and mind for an active and energetic day. When we open our eyes each morning, many of us overlook a simple but essential ritual: drinking water. After hours of sleep during which our bodies have been working to repair, restore, and rejuvenate themselves, our cells are literally crying out for the hydration they need to function optimally. During the night, our bodies continue their vital processes of healing, detoxification, and cellular repair, all of which require water. By morning, we have typically gone 8 or more hours without any fluid intake, leaving our bodies in a state of mild dehydration that can significantly impact our energy levels, mental clarity, and overall well-being. Our organs need to be gently awakened and activated, and a simple glass of water serves as the perfect signal to begin this daily revival process. Marcus Aurelius, in his timeless wisdom, taught us that the quality of our thoughts shapes our happiness, and there is perhaps no better way to nurture our minds than by caring for the physical temple that houses them. Morning hydration is like giving our bodies the key to unlock their full potential for the day ahead. It's not merely about quenching thirst, it's about providing our cells with the essential element they need to function at their highest level. Imagine your body as a sophisticated machine that has been resting and repairing itself through the night. Upon awakening, all your organs need to be gently activated and prepared for the day's activities. Water serves as the gentle wake-up call that your digestive system has been waiting for, while also providing a natural boost of energy that doesn't come from artificial stimulants, but from giving your body exactly what it needs. When you choose to drink water upon waking, you are sending a powerful message to your body. I care about you, I value you, and I want to help you function at your best. This act of self-care creates ripples of positive energy that extend throughout your entire day. Proper hydration helps eliminate toxins that have accumulated during the night's repair processes, preparing your organism for whatever challenges and opportunities lie ahead. The benefits of morning hydration extend far beyond the physical realm. When your body is properly hydrated, your concentration improves dramatically, your energy levels increase naturally, and your spirit feels renewed and refreshed. This simple habit can be genuinely transformative, affecting everything from your mood and mental clarity to your physical stamina and emotional resilience. Visualize yourself savoring the freshness of clean, pure water, feeling each cell in your body awakening and revitalizing itself. It's as if you are watering the seeds of your day, ensuring that they have everything they need to bloom and flourish to their fullest potential. The next time the sun announces a new day, before diving into the hustle and bustle of daily activities, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath, reach for that glass of water, and feel life flowing through you, energizing every part of your being. The fifth essential practice involves maintaining calm and avoiding the rush that often characterizes our morning routines. The act of awakening marks the beginning of a new journey, but many of us approach it with anxiety, hurry, and stress. Instead of this frantic approach, we can transform this moment into an enriching experience that sets a balanced and efficient tone for our entire day. Marcus Aurelius, the wise Roman emperor, warned us that haste is the mother of failure. His words echo across the centuries, reminding us of the critical importance of beginning each day with calm intention rather than frantic energy. Instead of jumping out of bed as if we were fleeing from a predator, we can adopt a gentler, more conscious approach to the transition from sleep to wakefulness. Think of your awakening as similar to a gradual sunrise, serene, gentle, and full of unlimited potential. When you open your eyes, allow yourself a few precious moments of tranquility. Breathe deeply, feeling the air fill your lungs and energize your entire body. Stretch like a lazy cat awakening, gently rousing each muscle with care and attention. This is not lost time, but rather an investment in your overall well-being and effectiveness. While your body awakens, tune your mind to the day that lies ahead. Visualize your goals and objectives not as a stressful list of tasks to be completed, but as opportunities for growth, learning, and meaningful contribution to the world. This is the perfect moment to establish positive intentions, to connect with your greater purpose, and to remind yourself of what truly matters in your life. Marcus Aurelius also counseled us to dedicate only the necessary time to each activity, applying this principle wisely to our morning routine. Avoid getting lost in unnecessary distractions or time-wasting activities. Instead, focus on what is essential, nourishing your body, mind, and spirit for the challenges and joys that await you throughout the day. When we adopt this conscious approach to awakening, we create a solid foundation for our entire day. It's like planting a seed of tranquility that will bloom into moments of clarity and productivity throughout the following hours. Imagine navigating your day with the grace of a ship sailing in calm waters rather than struggling against turbulent currents. This is the difference that a mindful awakening can make in your daily experience. This practice helps you feel more centered, less prone to stress and anxiety, and more capable of facing challenges with serenity and wisdom. Remember that each morning represents a new opportunity to redefine your rhythm and realign with your deepest values. By dedicating a few precious minutes to a calm and intentional awakening, you are not only improving your morning, but investing in the quality of your entire day and, by extension, the quality of your life itself. The sixth crucial practice emphasizes not forgetting the essential fuel your body needs to function optimally throughout the day. Starting the day properly nourished is fundamental to maintaining energy, focus, and emotional stability. Breakfast truly is the meal that provides us with the necessary energy to face daily challenges effectively. Yet many of us, pressured by busy schedules and time constraints, neglect this crucial meal without realizing the profound impact this omission has on our performance and well-being. Just as a car cannot function without gasoline, our bodies and minds cannot operate at full capacity without proper morning nourishment. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius reminds us that our present actions resonate into the future, and beginning our day nutritiously is not merely about satisfying momentary hunger, but about establishing a positive tone for all the hours that follow. When we skip breakfast, we essentially become prisoners of irritability, difficulty concentrating, and energy crashes that can derail our best intentions for the day. Our blood sugar levels fluctuate wildly, our metabolism slows down, and our bodies go into conservation mode, making us feel sluggish and unfocused. This is hardly the optimal state for tackling important tasks, making good decisions, or maintaining positive relationships with others. The good news is that nourishing our bodies in the morning doesn't require elaborate preparation or gourmet meals. A simple bowl of oatmeal with fresh fruit, a nutritious smoothie packed with vegetables and protein, or eggs with whole grain toast can make the tremendous difference between a productive, energetic day and a sluggish, unfocused one. The key is choosing foods that provide sustained energy rather than quick sugar spikes that lead to inevitable crashes. Epictetus wisely counseled us to listen more and speak less, and we can apply this principle to our relationship with food and nutrition. We should learn to listen carefully to our body's needs and respond with appropriate nutrients, rather than ignoring these signals or responding with empty calories that provide temporary satisfaction but long-term energy depletion. Don't underestimate the transformative power of a good breakfast. This simple habit can be the key to revolutionizing your daily routine, converting each morning into a journey of accomplishments and well-being. When you dedicate time to this essential meal, you are making a valuable investment in the energy and positive disposition you need to reach your goals with vigor and enthusiasm. The seventh practice involves not living without a clear plan or direction for your day. In the journey of life, awakening without a defined course can lead us to indecision, wasted time, and the frustrating feeling of having wandered aimlessly without accomplishing anything meaningful. Marcus Aurelius encourages us not merely to contemplate virtue, but to actively live it, and this principle applies perfectly to our daily routine and time management. Imagine waking up without a clear plan, like a ship attempting to navigate vast oceans without a compass or map. It becomes easy to get distracted by every wind that blows, every current that pulls, and every attractive island we pass, ultimately arriving nowhere important by day's end. This aimless drifting often leads to the unsettling sensation of having wasted precious time and opportunities. But what if instead of drifting, you became the architect of your day? What if you took a few valuable minutes each morning to plan your journey, noting crucial tasks and establishing clear priorities? This habit not only maintains your focus throughout the day, but also infuses you with the confidence and clarity needed to move forward purposefully, knowing your route and destination. When we know our planned course, we can avoid the trap of procrastination and advance toward our objectives with determination and clear vision. Epictetus reminds us that true wealth does not lie in possessing many things, but in limiting our needs and focusing our energy on what truly matters. By planning our day, we can concentrate our energy on priorities that align with our values and long-term goals, avoiding the waste of time on trivial matters that don't contribute to our growth or well-being. Visualize the empowering sensation of beginning your day with a clear, well-thought-out plan. This simple habit can transform not only your productivity, but also your satisfaction and sense of accomplishment at the end of each day. When we know what we want to achieve and have a roadmap for getting there, we can move through our day with purpose and intention rather than reacting randomly to whatever comes our way. Planning doesn't mean rigidly controlling every minute of your day or eliminating all spontaneity and flexibility. Rather, it means having a framework, a general direction, and clear priorities that guide your decisions and help you make the most of your time and energy. It's like having a lighthouse that guides you safely through potentially stormy waters. The eighth vital practice focuses on refusing to feed negative thoughts and instead cultivating a positive mindset by focusing on what we can actually control. Upon awakening, our thoughts can sometimes resemble a storm of negativity, filled with worries about the day ahead, concerns about unfinished tasks, or anxiety about potential problems. However, we possess the power to calm this mental storm and redirect our thinking toward more constructive and empowering directions. Marcus Aurelius teaches us that the mind is shaped according to what we impose upon it, much like a hammer adapts to the anvil it strikes. While we cannot control all the events that happen to us throughout our day, we can always choose our response to these circumstances. This choice is perhaps the most fundamental and powerful freedom we possess as human beings. Imagine awakening and instead of immediately sinking into worries and negative projections, deciding to view the day as a blank canvas ready to be painted with vibrant colors of possibility and opportunity. Epictetus wisely said that it is not events themselves that disturb us, but rather our interpretation of these events. This perspective has the revolutionary power to transform challenges into opportunities for growth, learning, and character development. When you notice dark or negative thoughts beginning to arise in your mind, pause for a moment and ask yourself some important questions. Is this thought pattern actually helping me in any way? How can I view this situation from a more constructive and empowering perspective? What would I advise a dear friend who was experiencing these same concerns? This practice of self-observation and mental redirection is like planting seeds of resilience in fertile soil, nurturing our capacity to handle stress and adversity with grace and wisdom. Our thoughts function like magnets for our emotions and subsequent actions. When we cultivate a positive mindset from the moment we awaken, we are preparing the ground for a more productive and fulfilling day. It's similar to adjusting the sails of a ship to take advantage of favorable winds, even when sailing through potentially rough seas. Training the mind to detect and redirect negative thought patterns is like strengthening a muscle through regular exercise. Over time, we become more agile and skilled at managing stress, transforming it into fuel for our personal growth and development. The key is consistency and patience with ourselves as we develop this crucial life skill. When you wake up, instead of surrendering to pessimism and negative thinking, take a conscious moment to redirect your thoughts towards something constructive and empowering. It's like opening the curtains and allowing brilliant sunlight to flood in, illuminating the dark corners of your mind and filling your mental space with warmth and possibility. The ninth essential practice involves not neglecting the exercise of your mind through morning reflection and contemplation. At dawn, a unique opportunity arises to shape the course of our entire day, yet many of us, eager to begin our tasks and responsibilities, neglect this crucial moment of introspection and mental preparation. However, this brief period of morning reflection can be the key to a more balanced, meaningful, and purposeful daily experience. Imagine awakening and, instead of immediately plunging into the hustle and bustle of daily activities, dedicating a few precious minutes to connecting with yourself, your values, and your intentions. This pause, which might seem simple or even unnecessary, has the transformative power to shift your perspective and prepare your spirit for whatever challenges or opportunities the day may bring. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius, with his timeless wisdom, suggested beginning each morning with a mental exercise, acknowledging that the day will likely bring obstacles such as ingratitude, insolence, and selfishness from others. Far from being a pessimistic thought, this practice equips us with the resilience necessary to face adversities with serenity and wisdom, rather than being caught off guard by difficult people or challenging situations. Without this moment of mental preparation and contemplation, we risk feeling adrift in a sea of commitments, demands, and external pressures. Morning reflection acts like a compass, orienting our actions and decisions throughout the day according to our deeper values and purposes. It's as if, before setting sail on the ocean of daily life, we consult our internal map and chart the most appropriate course for reaching our desired destination. This practice doesn't need to be elaborate or time-consuming. It can be as simple as sitting in silence for a few minutes, writing your thoughts in a journal, or engaging in brief meditation. The important thing is creating mental space to clarify your intentions, connect with your purpose, and prepare yourself mentally and emotionally for the day ahead. When you adopt this habit of morning reflection, you establish a solid foundation for everything that follows. You will feel more centered, less reactive to external circumstances, and more aligned with your authentic purposes and values. Imagine the difference between starting your day already running with your mind in chaos versus beginning with calm, clarity, and focused intention. This small morning ritual can be the catalyst for profound change in your daily life, promoting greater productivity, peace of mind, and sense of meaning. The next time the sun rises, before launching into your routine, make a pause, breathe deeply, reflect on your goals and aspirations, and prepare yourself mentally for whatever challenges may come. The 10th practice emphasizes not ignoring your body and recognizing the importance of morning stretching and movement. Upon awakening, our bodies cry out for attention and gentle activation after hours of rest and repair. Epictetus wisely teaches us to define our essence before acting, which applies perfectly to morning physical care and preparation. Neglecting our bodies when we wake up can result in stiffness, fatigue, and lack of energy that persists throughout the entire day. Our physical form, like a sophisticated machine, requires daily maintenance and care to function at its optimal level. A brief ritual of stretching or light exercises can be the key to unlocking our body's full potential for the day ahead. Marcus Aurelius compared life to a struggle, reminding us of the need to prepare our bodies for daily challenges. Morning movement is not just physical activity, it's also a chemical catalyst that awakens our systems, improves blood circulation, and releases endorphins, those wonderful messengers of happiness and vitality that naturally elevate our mood and energy levels. Dedicating a few minutes each morning to this ritual of self-care is like turning on a switch that illuminates your entire being. When you stretch, move, and activate your body, you are sending a clear message of respect and appreciation to the vessel that carries you through life. Each stretch and movement promotes healthy growth and prepares your body for whatever physical and mental demands the day may bring. Visualize yourself honoring your body each morning, treating it with the care and attention it deserves. This simple habit can be the foundation for profound transformation in your physical and mental well-being, ensuring a smooth and energetic transition into your daily activities and responsibilities. Your body is your most loyal partner in this journey called life. When you treat it with respect and care, providing it with the movement and attention it needs, it will reward you with vigor, vitality, and the strength to face any challenge the day may bring. This morning ritual of physical care is an investment in your overall health and well-being that pays dividends throughout your entire day. The 11th practice focuses on not neglecting your relationships and taking time to connect with your loved ones to start the day with love and support. The importance of relationships in our pursuit of happiness is a central theme in Stoic philosophy, and one that deserves careful attention in our morning routine. Seneca, one of the great thinkers of this philosophical tradition, emphasized the tremendous value of friendship and love as essential elements for a full and meaningful life. In the midst of daily hustle and bustle, it's common to neglect the connections that truly matter, prioritizing tasks and obligations over the relationships that give our lives meaning and purpose. However, dedicating a few minutes each morning to nurturing emotional bonds can have a significant impact on both our well-being and that of others. A simple good morning, a warm hug, or a brief conversation can strengthen relationships and remind us that we are not alone in this journey of life. These moments of human connection provide us with a sense of belonging and joy that increases our resilience when facing daily challenges. Marcus Aurelius, another prominent figure in Stoicism, invites us to embrace the people that destiny has placed on our path. This attitude of acceptance and genuine love can transform our daily interactions into sources of emotional support and motivation. Beginning the day with positive human connection provides us with purpose and reminds us of what truly matters in life. These moments of connection help us maintain focus on life's genuine priorities while building a solid support network capable of backing us during difficult times and celebrating with us during moments of triumph. This practice not only enriches our own existence, but also creates a domino effect of positivity that impacts those around us in meaningful ways. Starting the day by connecting with someone special, whether through an affectionate message, a quick phone call, or sharing breakfast together, can transform your morning and enrich your life in profound and lasting ways. Remember, our relationships are life's true treasure, and we should never underestimate the power of a gesture of affection to brighten not only our own day, but the days of many others around us. The 12th practice involves not underestimating the power of conscious breathing as a transformative morning ritual. Conscious breathing, often underestimated in our busy lives, is a powerful practice that can completely transform your daily experience. Imagine beginning each morning with a clear mind and relaxed body, ready to face whatever challenges or opportunities lie ahead. This is exactly what conscious breathing can offer you. The Stoics, like Epictetus, emphasize the importance of living in the present moment, and breathing serves as our anchor to the here and now. It is a constant reminder of our existence and our connection to life itself. When we focus on our breath, we awaken to the present moment, moving away from worries about the past and anxieties about the future. Think of breathing as a silent dance between your body and the world around you. Each inhalation brings new life and energy, while each exhalation releases what no longer serves us. It's a simple but profoundly powerful ritual that costs nothing but can provide tremendous benefits for both physical and mental well-being. Upon awakening, before launching into the day's activities, dedicate a moment to this practice. Feel the air entering through your nostrils, filling your lungs, expanding your abdomen. Hold for a moment, as if savoring life itself, then release slowly, allowing tensions and worries to dissolve with the outgoing breath. This apparently simple act has surprising effects on our overall well-being. It calms the nervous system, reduces stress and anxiety, and clears the mind for better decision-making throughout the day. Conscious breathing is not just a physical exercise, but mental training that teaches us to direct our attention skillfully, a valuable ability in our world full of distractions and competing demands. Remember Epictetus's words, "It is impossible for a person to learn what they believe they already know." Open yourself to rediscovering something as fundamental as breathing. You might be surprised by the revelations and insights that emerge from this simple but profound practice. The 13th practice emphasizes not distancing yourself from nature and recognizing its profound healing and centering power. Nature, in its silent majesty, represents a powerful force that many of us neglect amid the agitation of modern life. Immersed in a world of technology, constant noise, and urban environments, we frequently distance ourselves from our natural essence without realizing the tremendous benefits we're missing. However, reconnecting with the natural world around us can be a genuinely transformative experience that enhances our physical health, mental clarity, and emotional well-being. Imagine beginning your day not with the harsh sound of an alarm clock, but with the gentle murmur of a stream or the melodious singing of birds greeting the dawn. Marcus Aurelius, in his timeless wisdom, invites us to contemplate the beauty of sunrise and sunset, to admire the serenity of flowing waters, and to find peace in the simple observation of natural phenomena. Scientific studies corroborate what many have long intuited. Nature has profoundly beneficial effects on our well-being, acting as a balm for our agitated minds, reducing stress, elevating our mood, and sharpening our concentration and focus. It's as if, by reconnecting with the natural world, we are realigning our own internal frequency with something larger and more stable than our daily worries and concerns. You don't need a grand expedition or elaborate outdoor adventure to enjoy these benefits. Small gestures like opening your window in the morning and breathing fresh air, or taking a brief walk while observing the subtleties of the sky and the dance of leaves in the wind, can be sufficient to anchor us in the present moment. Nature teaches us valuable lessons about impermanence, beauty, and the cycles of life. Each flower that blooms, each cloud that passes, reminds us of the preciousness of the present moment and the constant change that characterizes existence. Therefore, before diving into the day's agitation, allow yourself a moment of connection with the natural world. The 14th practice focuses on not losing sight of your essence and taking time to reflect on your values and objectives to live an authentic and meaningful life. Upon awakening, dedicate a few moments to full visualization and mental preparation for the day ahead. This practice, inspired by the wisdom of Emperor Marcus Aurelius, can be the key to unlocking your daily potential and approaching your responsibilities with confidence and clarity. Begin by imagining how your day will unfold. Visualize your tasks and the challenges you might face, but see yourself handling them with competence and grace. Imagine resolving complex problems at work, managing unexpected situations with calm and clarity, and interacting positively with people around you, whether in formal meetings or informal conversations. Picture yourself overcoming obstacles and finding creative solutions to difficulties that arise. Visualization is not mere fantasy. It's a powerful form of mental training. Just as athletes practice their movements mentally before a competition, you are preparing your brain for the day's challenges and opportunities. Each positive visualization helps build confidence and resilience, creating neural pathways that support success and well-being. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that while the future is uncertain, we can face it with serenity if our minds are properly prepared for whatever may come. Think of yourself as an architect designing the blueprint for your ideal day. Each detail you imagine is a step toward a more organized and efficient reality. This morning practice acts as a guide, orienting your actions and decisions toward your objectives and helping you navigate challenges with greater ease and confidence. The 15th and final practice involves not distancing yourself from gratitude and making it a cornerstone of your morning routine. Imagine yourself as a gardener of the spirit, cultivating seeds of gratitude in your heart each morning. This practice, deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy, has the power to transform your perspective and enrich your existence in surprising and meaningful ways. Seneca, one of the great Stoic thinkers, compared gratitude to a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered in each new dawn. Upon opening your eyes each morning, allow yourself to immerse in an ocean of recognition for the blessings in your life. from the people who surround you to the opportunities that present themselves before you. This practice acts like a beacon, guiding your thoughts away from the rocks of negativity and toward the calm waters of posit. Have you ever wondered what it feels like to walk into a room and immediately become the center of attention, not because of dramatic gestures or loud proclamations, but simply through the power of your presence? Have you ever yearned to be valued more deeply, to be recognized with the genuine respect you deserve, to command attention not through desperation, but through authentic magnetism? If your answer is yes, you are certainly not alone in this universal human desire for recognition and respect. In today's fast-paced, often superficial society, many of us feel profoundly undervalued and frequently overlooked, as if our contributions and very existence fade into the background noise of daily life. We find ourselves competing for attention in an increasingly crowded world, where genuine connection seems elusive and authentic recognition feels like a distant dream. However, this feeling of invisibility and underappreciation is not a permanent fate that you must passively accept. It is not a life sentence handed down by circumstances beyond your control. Today, we embark on a transformative journey together, one filled with both promise and meaningful challenge. This journey will teach us to harness the invaluable lessons from ancient Stoic philosophy to build an unshakable sense of self and develop an undeniable presence that draws others naturally toward us. This is not about seeking attention for its own sake or manipulating others into noticing us. Rather, it is about cultivating sustainable thoughts, behaviors, and character traits that make you not only highly regarded by others, but also genuinely stronger and more resilient from within. The path we will explore together involves 10 core strategies that have withstood the test of time, proven effective across centuries and cultures. These principles have guided countless individuals toward developing the kind of presence that naturally commands respect and admiration. We will journey through these time-tested approaches that can fundamentally change how others perceive you, but more importantly, we will discover how these strategies transform how you perceive and value yourself. This transformation begins with understanding that true presence and magnetism cannot be manufactured or forced. They emerge naturally from a deep well of self-knowledge, inner strength, and authentic character development. The Stoic philosophers understood this fundamental truth thousands of years ago, recognizing that external validation and superficial charm are poor substitutes for genuine character and inner peace. The ancient Stoics believed that the quality of our thoughts determines the quality of our lives, and this principle extends directly to how we show up in the world. When we cultivate wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance within ourselves, these virtues naturally radiate outward, creating an authentic magnetism that draws others toward us. This is not manipulation or performance. It is the natural result of becoming the best version of ourselves. Throughout this exploration, we will discover that building presence is not about creating fleeting moments of attention or temporary impressions. Instead, it is about developing a powerful, sustainable way of being that leaves lasting impressions on people's minds and hearts. It is about becoming someone whose very existence enriches the lives of those around them, someone whose absence is felt as keenly as their presence is appreciated. The journey toward developing this kind of presence requires commitment, patience, and consistent effort. It demands that we look honestly at ourselves, acknowledge our weaknesses, and commit to continuous growth and improvement. This process is not always comfortable, as it requires us to step outside our comfort zones and challenge long-held beliefs about ourselves and our capabilities. However, the rewards of this journey extend far beyond the recognition and respect we receive from others. As we develop these qualities within ourselves, we discover a deep sense of fulfillment, purpose, and inner peace that no external validation can provide. We become individuals who are not dependent on others' opinions for our sense of worth, yet paradoxically, this independence makes us more attractive and valuable to those around us. The first fundamental principle in building unshakable presence involves learning to take exceptional care of yourself, understanding that those who do not know how to love themselves cannot authentically love others. Self-care is not selfishness. It is a prerequisite for being able to genuinely contribute to others' lives. The better you take care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, the better equipped you become to support, inspire, and uplift those around you. This principle of self-care is not merely advice for comfortable living, but a fundamental requirement for living a truly satisfying and meaningful life. Taking care of oneself requires deep self-awareness, which means taking the time to genuinely understand yourself from your most basic physical needs to the deepest desires and aspirations of your soul. When you develop this level of self-understanding, you can begin nurturing and developing yourself with clear purpose and direction. Physical self-care forms the foundation of all other aspects of personal development. This means maintaining a genuinely healthy lifestyle that includes balanced, nutritious eating habits, regular physical exercise that challenges and strengthens your body, and sufficient quality sleep that allows your body and mind to recover and regenerate. When your physical body is well cared for, you not only feel healthier and more energetic, but you also naturally exude an attractive vitality that draws others to appreciate and value your presence. Mental and emotional self-care requires regularly recharging your psychological and spiritual resources. This can be accomplished through diverse activities such as reading books that challenge and expand your thinking, practicing meditation or mindfulness to develop inner peace and clarity, or dedicating time to personal hobbies and interests that bring you joy and fulfillment. When your mind and spirit are properly nourished, you become naturally confident and peaceful, creating an irresistible charm that makes others want to be around you. Self-care also involves setting healthy boundaries in your relationships and commitments, learning to say no to demands that drain your energy without providing meaningful value, and prioritizing activities and relationships that align with your values and support your growth. This boundary setting is not selfish, but essential for maintaining the emotional and mental resources necessary to show up fully in your important relationships and responsibilities. Remember that self-care is an ongoing journey that never truly ends, not a destination you reach and then maintain without effort. As Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosopher-emperors, wisely observed, "Our life is what our thoughts make it." When you continually invest in yourself across all dimensions of your well-being, you not only dramatically improve the quality of your own life, but also become a source of inspiration and positive energy for those around you. This is precisely how you make others naturally appreciate and deeply value your presence without having to beg for attention or recognition. The second crucial strategy involves cultivating calmness and composure, especially during challenging and high-pressure situations. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, once advised that the greatest remedy for anger is delay. This seemingly simple advice contains immense power for guiding us through difficult circumstances with grace and wisdom. In today's context, where every minute brings the potential for emotional turbulence and reactive responses, nurturing calmness and self-control becomes more important than ever before. We live in a world that seems designed to trigger immediate reactions, where social media, news cycles, and daily stresses constantly test our emotional equilibrium. Developing the ability to remain calm and composed in the face of these challenges sets you apart from the crowd and naturally draws others' respect and admiration. Imagine a particularly stressful workday where you walk into a meeting that has already started and you are greeted with unfriendly looks from colleagues who are clearly frustrated about the delay. In such a moment, your natural instinct might urge you to react defensively, to make excuses, or to respond with your own frustration and irritation. However, if you choose instead to remain calm, take a deep breath and allow yourself a moment of silence to think clearly before responding, you can completely transform the dynamic of the situation. Your subsequent response, delivered with composure and thoughtfulness, not only helps alleviate the tension in the room, but also earns genuine admiration from those present for your ability to remain poised under pressure. This kind of emotional regulation and self-control demonstrates a level of maturity and wisdom that people instinctively respect and value. The practice of cultivating calmness extends beyond reactive situations to encompass a general approach to life that embraces silence and reflection as sources of strength rather than emptiness. When we learn to embrace comfortable silence, we open up space for deep self-reflection and profound understanding of ourselves and the world around us. This inner stillness becomes a wellspring of wisdom that others can sense and are naturally drawn toward. Nurturing calmness and self-control is not merely a component of personal improvement, but also a pathway for connecting with timeless spiritual and philosophical values. It represents the art of living consciously and the secret to earning genuine respect and affection from others. When you demonstrate calmness in the midst of chaos and storms, you are not only adhering to a philosophy that has guided humanity for thousands of years, but also opening the door to deep respect and admiration from those around you. This quality of inner peace and emotional stability becomes particularly powerful when others are experiencing their own emotional turbulence. Your calmness serves as an anchor point, a source of stability that others can rely on when their own emotional waters are rough. This reliability and consistency make you invaluable to those around you and naturally increase the respect and appreciation they feel for your presence in their lives. The third essential strategy focuses on properly valuing your time, recognizing it as the most precious and irreplaceable resource you possess. Time is an intangible asset that, once lost, can never be regained or recovered. However, when you learn to properly value and manage your time, you not only become more self-directed and purposeful in every decision you make, but you also naturally attract appreciation and honor from those around you. Imagine reaching a point where you become a true master of time management, where every hour of your day is allocated with intention and purpose. People will not only admire your efficiency and effectiveness, but they will actively seek opportunities to spend time with you, to learn from your example, and to benefit from your focused attention. This transformation is not merely a hopeful promise, but an inevitable result when you apply Stoic principles to your relationship with time. The Stoics understood that time is the one resource that is equally distributed to all people. Yet how we choose to use this resource makes all the difference in the quality and impact of our lives. They recognized that every moment presents a choice. We can either waste time on trivial pursuits and reactive behaviors, Or we can invest our time in activities that align with our values and contribute to our growth and the well-being of others. When you demonstrate that you value your time highly, others naturally begin to value it as well. This creates a positive cycle where the respect you show for your own time generates respect from others for both your time and your judgment. People begin to see that if they want to engage with you, they need to bring something meaningful to the interaction, which naturally filters out superficial or draining encounters and attracts more substantial, mutually beneficial relationships. Valuing your time also means being selective about your commitments and learning to say no to requests that do not align with your priorities or values. This selectivity is not arrogance but wisdom, as it ensures that you can give your best effort and attention to the commitments you do make. When people know that your yes means something significant, they value your agreement and participation more highly. This principle extends to how you structure your daily routine and long-term goals. When you have a clear vision of what you want to accomplish and organize your time accordingly, you move through life with purpose and direction that others find inspiring and attractive. Your focused approach to time management becomes a model that others aspire to emulate, making you a natural leader and source of guidance. The fourth strategy involves practicing active listening, which is perhaps one of the most undervalued yet powerful skills for building genuine connections and earning respect. In a world where everyone seems eager to speak and few are willing to truly listen, the person who masters the art of active listening becomes extraordinarily valuable and magnetic to others. Consider a scenario where you are in a conversation with a friend who is sharing a personal struggle or challenging situation. Instead of glancing at your phone, thinking about your own response, or waiting for your turn to speak, you choose to remain completely present and fully focused on what they are saying. You listen not just to their words, but to the emotions behind those words, occasionally asking thoughtful questions that demonstrate you are not merely hearing, but truly understanding the weight and significance of what they are sharing. The result of this kind of deep, attentive listening is profound. You not only help your friend feel genuinely heard and understood, but you also establish a connection that goes far beyond surface-level interaction. In that moment, you become a safe harbor for their thoughts and feelings, a trusted confidant who can be relied upon for genuine understanding and support. Active listening is not merely a social skill, it is an essential component of becoming a fulfilled and emotionally intelligent human being. In alignment with Stoic principles, it represents an approach to every conversation as an opportunity to learn something new, not just about others, but also about yourself and the human condition in general. When you truly listen to others, you are practicing humility and demonstrating a willingness to open yourself to different experiences, perspectives, and emotions. This openness creates space for genuine learning and growth that benefits both you and the person you are listening to. The act of listening deeply requires setting aside your own ego and agenda to make space for someone else's truth and experience. To practice active listening consciously and effectively, you must first master your own emotions and internal dialogue. When you enter a conversation, remind yourself that your primary goal is to understand the other person, not to formulate your response or to prove your own knowledge or wisdom. This shift in intention immediately changes the quality of your attention and the depth of connection you can create. Throughout history, philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca emphasized the crucial importance of listening, not just to others, but also to oneself. They understood that listening is an integral part of living a moral and meaningful life. When you listen deeply, you are not merely receiving information, you are expanding your mind and heart to embrace the full richness of human experience that every conversation and interaction offers. The fifth strategy emphasizes embracing lifelong learning as a fundamental approach to existence. Seneca reminds us with timeless wisdom that as long as you live, keep learning how to live. This profound insight underscores the critical importance of continuous self-improvement and adaptation throughout our entire lives. In the journey of self-discipline and personal betterment, embracing a lifelong spirit of learning is not merely good advice, but a foundational principle for living a life that naturally attracts appreciation and honor from those around us. When we commit to never-ending learning and growth, we not only enhance our knowledge and capabilities, but also cultivate a profound understanding of the world and humanity that makes us increasingly valuable to others. This commitment to continuous learning helps us adjust our behavior and attitudes to be more harmonious with both natural principles and social dynamics. It increases our value in the eyes of others while simultaneously deepening our own sense of purpose and fulfillment. The process of learning and growing never truly ends. Each day presents new opportunities to expand our understanding and develop our character. The noble pursuit of education and the art of sharing knowledge play crucial roles in this process. By generously sharing our knowledge and experiences with others, we not only contribute to their growth and development, but also affirm our own worth and value. Each lesson taught, each insight shared, each story told becomes a testament to our deep understanding and thoughtful engagement with life. However, lifelong learning encompasses much more than simply accumulating facts or information. It is fundamentally a process of character development that cultivates patience, gratitude, acceptance, and wisdom. When faced with failures and difficulties, those who adhere to Stoic philosophy learn to perceive challenges from multiple perspectives, transforming every obstacle into an opportunity for growth and deeper understanding. This approach to learning extends beyond formal education or professional development to include emotional intelligence, spiritual growth, and practical wisdom. It involves learning how to manage relationships more effectively, how to handle stress and adversity with grace, how to find meaning and purpose in daily activities, and how to contribute positively to the lives of others. By embracing the noble duty of education and committing to a lifetime of learning, we not only become more valuable and interesting to those around us, but also create positive ripple effects that extend far beyond our immediate circle of influence. This makes others not only appreciate our presence, but actively seek our guidance and wisdom in their own lives. The process of becoming valuable in the eyes of others does not come from demonstrating power, authority, or superiority over others. Instead, it emerges from expanding our souls, sharing knowledge and understanding, and nurturing genuine respect and affection through our commitment to growth and service. This is not a quick or easy process. It requires perseverance, courage to face fears and failures, and a strong desire to become better every single day. The sixth strategy involves embracing authenticity as the foundation for all meaningful relationships and genuine respect. Authenticity represents perhaps the most powerful asset you can possess in building lasting connections and natural magnetism. As Epictetus wisely counseled, if you wish to be a writer, write. This principle extends to all aspects of life. If you wish to be authentic, you must consistently act in ways that reflect who you truly are at your core. Authenticity is not merely a strategy for gaining approval or recognition. It is a fundamental way of living that helps us value ourselves appropriately while inspiring others to appreciate our genuine worth. When we live authentically, we create space for real connections based on truth rather than performance or pretense. Consider the story of an artist who spent years creating work designed to appeal to market trends and popular demand rather than expressing their genuine creative vision. While this approach brought financial success, it also brought a deep sense of emptiness and disconnection from their true creative spirit. Eventually, this artist made the courageous decision to focus on personal projects that reflected their unique style and authentic creative perspective. Initially, there was fear that the public would not accept this more personal and vulnerable expression of creativity. However, the opposite occurred. The authentic work began to garner significant attention and respect from both peers and audiences, with many praising the freshness and genuine emotion that emerged when the artist stopped trying to be what others wanted and started being who they truly were. This transformation illustrates the profound power of authenticity in all areas of life. When we dare to live true to ourselves, we naturally attract like-minded individuals and create deep, lasting impressions on everyone we encounter. Authenticity not only reveals our true essence, but also allows us to connect on a much deeper level with those around us, creating an environment where appreciation and respect are given freely and genuinely. In a world where truth is often undervalued and superficiality is readily accepted, authenticity becomes your most valuable and distinguishing asset. It not only makes you unique and irreplaceable, but also naturally makes others drawn to your presence and eager to share in your perspective and experiences. By embracing and consistently expressing your authenticity, you convey a powerful message about personal worth and dignity that extends far beyond yourself. You contribute to creating a better world where everyone is respected and valued for their true selves, rather than for their ability to conform to external expectations or social pressures. The seventh strategy focuses on maintaining a sense of mystery, which involves understanding that within each of us lies something deep and private that should not be easily shared with everyone we encounter. When we keep certain aspects of ourselves reserved and protected, we not only preserve our intrinsic value, but also naturally evoke curiosity and create an irresistible allure that enhances our worth in others' eyes. This principle does not advocate for deception or manipulation, but rather for the wisdom of discretion and the power of selective sharing. When we encounter a new person, their gentle mystery often arouses curiosity and a natural desire to explore and understand them more deeply. This is not only a social phenomenon, but also a fundamental aspect of human nature, our profound thirst for discovery and understanding that is stimulated by the unknown. This concept forms an important foundation of Stoic philosophy, representing a process that not only enhances personal value in others' perception, but also creates genuine intrigue and magnetism. When you think of yourself as an open book, where each page contains fresh lessons and insights, natural curiosity leads others into your journey of discovery, transforming every conversation into an exciting adventure of mutual exploration. You become not just a storyteller, but a source of ongoing inspiration, prompting others to wonder what else they might learn from spending time with you. This dynamic creates a natural desire for continued interaction and deeper relationship, as people are drawn to the promise of further discovery and understanding. Maintaining an appropriate sense of mystery is about sharing yourself gradually and thoughtfully, allowing relationships to develop naturally through increasing levels of trust and intimacy. It involves being genuine and authentic, while also being selective about what you reveal and when you reveal it. This approach to self-revelation creates anticipation and appreciation for the insights and experiences you choose to share. When people know that your stories, thoughts, and perspectives are not freely given to everyone, they value them more highly when they are shared with them. This selectivity makes your openness feel like a gift rather than an expectation. The practice of maintaining mystery also involves developing depth and complexity within yourself that gives you interesting things to reveal over time. This means pursuing diverse interests, reflecting deeply on your experiences, and developing unique perspectives that make you genuinely fascinating to others. The 8th strategy emphasizes practicing discretion in what you choose to share about yourself and your life. In today's world of social media and constant connectivity, we are often encouraged to broadcast every detail of our personal lives, from major achievements to minor daily grievances. However, there is immense value in carefully choosing what we share and with whom we share it. This practice of discretion is not about being secretive or deceptive, but rather about respecting yourself and safeguarding your mental and emotional space. It represents a form of self-protection that maintains your dignity and preserves your energy for meaningful interactions and relationships. Consider the example of a successful entrepreneur who faced a crucial decision about whether to publicly announce an upcoming project. Operating in a highly competitive market where information represented a valuable asset, this person had to weigh the potential benefits of publicity against the risks of revealing too much too soon. Instead of sharing every detail of the project with the public, the entrepreneur chose to practice discretion, sharing information only with a small group of trusted partners and team members. This careful approach allowed the project to be developed and launched without interference or imitation from competitors, creating a significant competitive advantage while also demonstrating wisdom and strategic thinking. The practice of discretion extends beyond business decisions to encompass all aspects of personal sharing. With every piece of information you consider sharing, it is wise to ask yourself whether this information serves your long-term interests and whether it can build trust and respect from others. If the answer is uncertain, it may be time to keep that information private. Discretion is fundamentally a form of strength and self-respect. Through thoughtful restraint in what we share, we not only protect ourselves from unnecessary risks and potential exploitation, but also build a strong personal image that makes others naturally inclined to respect our judgment and value our perspectives. This quality of thoughtful sharing demonstrates not only wisdom, but also genuine self-respect, characteristics that naturally garner attention, admiration, and even desire for your presence and insight from others. When people see that you are selective about what you share, they value what you do choose to reveal more highly, creating deeper appreciation for your trust and openness. The 9th strategy involves embracing the art of receiving, which represents a sophisticated understanding of human interdependence and the natural flow of giving and taking that characterizes healthy relationships and communities. Learning to receive gracefully has the potential to enrich our spiritual and communal lives while contributing to a culture of generosity, solidarity, and mutual support. This principle rests on several foundational concepts that are central to Stoic philosophy. First is acknowledging our natural interdependence and connection to others, recognizing that complete self-sufficiency and arrogance can isolate us from the rich tapestry of community support and mutual aid that makes life meaningful and sustainable. Second is cultivating genuine gratitude through accepting what others offer us. By gracefully receiving help, gifts, and support from others, we nurture a grateful heart that recognizes the generosity of those around us and the many blessings that come our way, whether they are material, emotional, or spiritual in nature. Third is nurturing authentic humility through the practice of receiving. This process teaches us that we are not omnipotent or completely self-reliant, and that wisdom lies in acknowledging our weaknesses, limitations, and genuine needs. This humility makes us more relatable and trustworthy to others. Fourth is enhancing community bonds through our willingness to receive from others. When we open ourselves to accepting help and support from those around us, we strengthen the fabric of our relationships and communities, demonstrating that everyone can freely express their needs and vulnerabilities without shame or judgment. Fifth is encouraging generosity in others through our graceful acceptance of what they offer. In a beautiful cycle of mutual support, accepting gifts and help gracefully encourages others to open their hearts to giving, creating an environment where generosity flourishes and everyone benefits from increased connection and support. To truly embrace the art of receiving, you can begin with small daily practices that gradually build your comfort and skill in this area. Acknowledge compliments with a simple, genuine thank you, recognizing and appreciating the giver's positive intentions rather than deflecting or minimizing their words. Seek help when you genuinely need it, viewing these requests not as signs of weakness, but as opportunities to deepen connections with others and allow them to contribute meaningfully to your life. Accept constructive criticism with an open heart, seeing it as a valuable gift for personal growth rather than a personal attack or rejection. The 10th and final strategy focuses on fostering resilience and endurance, which represent perhaps the most attractive and magnetic qualities a person can develop. Stoic philosophy teaches us the fundamental wisdom of distinguishing between what is within our control and what lies beyond our influence, and this distinction forms the foundation of true resilience. Resilience begins with accepting that many external factors, including other people's opinions, actions, and the unpredictable events of life, are simply beyond our direct control or influence. This acceptance is not a form of resignation or passive surrender, but rather a strong strategic stance that directs our energy and effort toward the areas where we can actually make a difference: our own actions, thoughts, and reactions. When you embody this principle consistently, you naturally exude a calm confidence and inner strength that draws people toward you like a magnet. Others see you not as someone who is easily swayed by external circumstances or emotional turbulence, but as a steadfast presence who remains stable and reliable even in the midst of chaos and uncertainty. True resilience is developed through repeatedly facing obstacles and persisting through discomfort, difficulty, and setbacks. It involves viewing challenges not as insurmountable walls or personal failures, but as valuable opportunities for growth, learning, and character development. This perspective transforms our entire relationship with adversity and difficulty. Stoic exercises such as voluntary hardship and systematic reflection on adversity are not merely theoretical concepts, but practical tools designed to strengthen mental fortitude and emotional resilience. These practices help us build the psychological muscles we need to handle whatever life throws our way with grace and wisdom. When you share your stories of perseverance and overcoming obstacles, you naturally inspire others and become a beacon of hope and evidence of the indomitable human spirit. People are naturally drawn to those who exhibit resilience and strength, seeing them as valuable companions, natural leaders, and trusted friends who can be relied upon during their own difficult times. Stoicism brings a unique perspective that sees difficulties not merely as burdens to be endured, but as essential means for personal development and character building. This fundamental shift in perspective transforms our entire outlook on life's challenges. What once seemed like insurmountable mountains now become manageable stepping stones on our path to growth and wisdom. As you develop and demonstrate these qualities of resilience and endurance, others will naturally begin to seek your advice, support, and presence. They are drawn not only to the strength you display, but also to the hope and possibility you represent, a vision that transforms adversity into advantage and obstacles into opportunities. This transformation in how others perceive and value you is not about manipulation or creating a false image, but about becoming the kind of person who genuinely enriches the lives of everyone they encounter. It is about developing character qualities that make you not only admirable, but also genuinely helpful and inspiring to others. The journey toward building this kind of unshakable presence and natural magnetism requires consistent effort, patience, and commitment to continuous growth. It is not a destination you reach once and then maintain without ongoing effort, but rather a way of being that requires daily attention and practice. However, the rewards of this journey extend far beyond the recognition and respect you receive from others. As you develop these qualities within yourself, you discover a deep sense of fulfillment, purpose, and inner peace that no external validation can provide or take away. You become someone who is not dependent on others' opinions for your sense of worth, yet paradoxically, this independence makes you more attractive and valuable to those around you. Remember that everyone's journey toward developing presence and magnetism is unique and personal. The specific ways these principles manifest in your life will depend on your individual circumstances, personality, and goals. The key is to remain committed to the process of growth and development, trusting that consistent effort in the right direction will yield meaningful results over time. As we conclude this comprehensive exploration of building unshakable presence through Stoic principles, remember that these are not merely techniques to be applied superficially, but fundamental ways of being that require integration into your core identity and daily practices. The goal is not to become someone different from who you are, but to become the best, most authentic, and most resilient version of yourself. For every interaction you have, every challenge you face, and every choice you make presents an opportunity to practice these principles and strengthen your character. The presence and magnetism you develop through this process will be genuine and sustainable because it emerges from real inner strength and authentic character development rather than superficial manipulation or performance. Keep moving forward on this journey with patience and persistence, remembering that the goal is not perfection, but progress. Each step you take toward embodying these Stoic principles makes you more valuable, not only to others, but to yourself, creating a positive cycle of growth, contribution, and fulfillment that enriches every aspect of your life. Let's be completely clear about something that might be uncomfortable to acknowledge. Your life is filled with things that simply don't serve you, things that get in your way, things that rob you of energy and peace of mind. But have you ever asked yourself why you continue carrying these burdens? Sometimes the greatest act of rebellion isn't making noise or creating drama, but silently eliminating everything that subtracts from your well-being. Toxic relationships need to go. Self-destructive habits must be abandoned. And no, you don't need to make a spectacle of it or wait for anyone's approval to begin this process of liberation. Today, I'm going to teach you to follow the profound advice of Stoic philosophy. Let go of what you cannot control and free yourself from unnecessary suffering. Because, my friend, life is far too short to remain trapped by the expectations of others, weighed down by their opinions, or paralyzed by fear of their judgment. I'm going to show you step by step how to eliminate those 10 things that are undoubtedly turning your life into chaos, not just physical and mental clutter, but the deeper patterns that are destroying your peace and potential faster than you might realize. Pay attention to this story that will help you understand the wisdom contained in this approach to living. In a remote village by the sea lived a young fisherwoman named Eleanor. She was known throughout the community for her exceptional ability to navigate the most turbulent waters and her remarkable capacity to catch fish even on the most challenging days when other fishermen returned empty-handed. However, over the years, Eleanor had accumulated a vast collection of broken nets and damaged tools that she no longer used but kept out of pure habit and attachment to the past. Despite this accumulation of useless items, every time she set out to sea, the space in her small boat was filled with objects that hindered her work rather than helping it. These broken tools and worn-out equipment made her movements clumsy and inefficient, yet she couldn't bring herself to throw them away. One day, while preparing for what she expected to be a long journey on the ocean, a fierce storm suddenly unleashed its fury. The waves pounded her boat mercilessly, and Eleanor realized with growing alarm that the excess of things she carried with her was making it enormously difficult to maneuver effectively through the dangerous waters. For hours, she fought against the storm's relentless assault, but she couldn't avoid feeling that her enemies weren't just the towering waves and howling wind, but also the unnecessary load she had been carrying. On the verge of desperation, with her boat taking on water and her strength failing, Eleanor made a difficult but necessary decision that would change everything. She began to get rid of what no longer served her purpose. First, she threw the broken nets into the churning sea, watching them disappear beneath the foam. Then came the frayed and useless ropes that had been taking up valuable space. Finally, she even discarded some personal objects that she had kept out of sentimental attachment, but that served no practical purpose in her current situation. With each item she released into the ocean, her boat became lighter and more responsive. She could maneuver better through the towering waves, and more importantly, she no longer felt trapped by the weight of her past. The waves continued to crash with tremendous force, but Eleanor no longer felt overwhelmed by the burden of carrying unnecessary things. Thanks to this courageous action of letting go, she managed to stay afloat and navigate through the worst of the storm. Finally, when the tempest subsided and the seas calmed, she was able to return to port exhausted but safe, her boat lighter and her spirit freed from the weight of accumulated clutter. When her fellow fishermen saw her return against all odds, they asked her how she had managed to survive such a devastating storm when others had been forced to turn back or seek shelter. Elena, with a peaceful smile that reflected her newfound wisdom, responded with words that would resonate in their minds for years to come. There are moments in life when we cling to things we don't need, objects, memories, or even people who only add weight to our journey. Only when we decide to let go of the unnecessary, silently and without drama, do we find the freedom to move forward with greater ease and purpose. The moral of this story is that in life, there are many things we must eliminate in silence to continue moving forward toward our true destination. Sometimes, the load we carry prevents us from navigating with the grace and efficiency we're capable of, and only by releasing that burden can we discover our authentic path and reach our full potential. Have you ever wondered how many decisions in your life you've made solely out of fear of what others might think? Yes, that insidious fear that creeps under your skin, that prevents you from being your authentic self, as if you were living on a continuous stage under the critical eye of an audience that, in reality, isn't even paying attention to your performance. Because here's the truth that might surprise you. Most of the time, people are too busy dealing with their own insecurities and concerns to spend much time judging you. But even knowing this intellectually, you still find yourself paralyzed by the potential judgment of others. The fear of what others think is one of those silent parasites that feeds on your dreams and aspirations. It attaches itself to your back and whispers in your ear whenever you think about doing something different, bold, or authentic. What will they think? And suddenly, you change course, adapting your life to what you believe others expect from you, rather than following your own inner compass. What profound irony it is that we spend so much time worried about other people's opinions that we unknowingly stop living the life we actually want to live. This is how this fear operates in our daily existence. It pushes us to please people who, in many cases, aren't even on our list of frequent contacts or meaningful relationships. It's as if our internal compass were miscalibrated, and instead of following the true north that our intuition marks for us, we follow the false south dictated by societal expectations and social pressure. You put on whatever mask best fits the expectations of the moment. One face at work, another with friends, yet another on social media platforms. But what happens to the real you, the authentic person hiding beneath layers of false smiles and borrowed opinions that don't truly belong to you? Sometimes the fear of judgment is more subtle and disguised as prudence or practical thinking. It's not the right time, you tell yourself. Maybe I'm not good enough yet, or I should wait until conditions are more favorable. These are excuses disguised as wisdom that fundamentally hide the same monster, the terror of being judged by others. Meanwhile, your dreams and authentic desires remain filed away, waiting for a better moment that never arrives, while you live a life that feels increasingly disconnected from your true self. To eliminate this fear once and for all, we need to practice the core principles of Stoic philosophy with dedication and consistency. The Stoics taught us that we cannot control what others think about us, but we absolutely can control how we react to their thoughts and opinions. This sounds simple in theory, but implementing it requires constant exercise in introspection and the development of genuine courage. It's about learning to live for yourself, to make decisions because they bring you happiness and fulfillment, not because they comply with others' expectations or social norms. Life is far too short and precious to be lived under the shadow of other people's opinions, constantly seeking their approval and validation. A powerful exercise to begin this liberation process is to start eliminating, in silence, those things that don't add real value to your life, those things that exist solely to please others or maintain a certain image that doesn't reflect your authentic self. Do you feel obligated to maintain a certain professional image that doesn't align with your values? Have you committed to a career path that doesn't fulfill you because it was considered the right thing to do by family or society? Free yourself from these burdens gradually and consistently. Start with small but meaningful decisions. Say no to plans that don't appeal to you. Pursue something you've always wanted to do but feared because of potential judgment. Make choices based on your genuine preferences rather than what you think others want to see. Each small action of authenticity will gradually liberate you from the prison of others' expectations. I won't lie to you and say it's easy. There are days when the weight of external judgment seems overwhelming and impossible to ignore. But it's precisely in those moments when you need to remind yourself that every time you choose to live according to what others think rather than your own values and desires, you lose a piece of what you really are. It's a kind of slow, silent death of the spirit that you can avoid if you have the courage to be faithful to yourself and your authentic nature. So, begin eliminating these unnecessary concerns from your life in silence. You don't have to make a grand announcement to the world about your transformation. Simply set aside what doesn't truly belong to you. Learn to trust your own judgment and criteria, to value your own thoughts and feelings more than what others might think about your choices. Because at the end of each day, the only person you truly have to answer to and live with is yourself. There's a phrase that resonates deeply with me and might resonate with you too. There is no worse blindness than that of someone who doesn't want to see. You've surely heard it before, haven't you? The curious thing is that many times we apply this selective blindness to our own relationships, becoming accustomed to dealing with people who somehow subtract more from our lives than they add to them. Yes, I'm talking about those toxic relationships that, without you fully realizing it, gradually drain your energy, enthusiasm, and peace of mind. The worst part is that sometimes you cling to these harmful relationships as if they were indispensable parts of your life, as if letting go would be an offense against the universe or a sign of personal failure. Now, I'm not talking exclusively about romantic partnerships here. Toxic relationships can exist anywhere and everywhere, within family dynamics, in friend groups, in workplace environments. And the most interesting and challenging aspect is that nobody forces you to maintain these connections. Yet there you are, tolerating them in silence, as if releasing them would be somehow wrong or cruel. Why do we do this to ourselves repeatedly? Perhaps it's because we've been taught that cutting ties with people is a sign of weakness or insensitivity, as if the simple act of removing someone from your life were inherently an act of malice or selfishness, when in reality it can be the greatest act of self-love and self-preservation that you can perform for your own well-being and mental health. Let's get philosophical for a moment and consider what the Stoics taught about this dilemma. They spoke extensively about how we shouldn't worry about things we cannot control, and this principle applies directly to the people who surround us in our daily lives. You cannot control how others act, think, or behave, but you absolutely can control whether you want to maintain them in your life or not. This sounds straightforward in theory, but here comes the challenging part: doing it in silence, without drama or spectacle. And please don't misunderstand what I mean by this approach. This isn't about silent revenge or playing games of superiority or manipulation. It's simply the conscious, mature decision not to continue feeding a relationship that depletes and exhausts you. You do this quietly, thoughtfully, and with respect for both yourself and the other person involved. Think about it this way. You don't need to create drama or conflict to eliminate what doesn't serve you in life. You don't need to announce to the four winds that you're detoxifying yourself from certain people or relationships. You simply start letting go gradually, like when you stop watering a plant that no longer blooms or brings beauty to your space. You do this calmly and peacefully, knowing that this plant is no longer part of your garden, and that's perfectly acceptable. The plant will continue its journey elsewhere. You'll continue yours, and everyone can find happiness and peace in their respective paths. Have you ever experienced spending time with certain people who, although they might be close to you or well-meaning, leave you feeling emotionally drained and exhausted after every interaction? It's not necessarily that they're bad people with malicious intentions, but their energy, communication style, or emotional needs clash with yours in ways that create tension and discomfort. This is where it becomes crucial to detect these warning signals and respond appropriately. Listen carefully to your body and mind when you're around certain individuals. If you feel like every interaction with a particular person is like running an emotional marathon, if you find yourself dreading their calls or messages, if you notice that you need significant recovery time after spending time with them, it's quite possible that you're involved in a toxic relationship, no matter how much it might hurt to acknowledge this reality. Here's where the strategy of silence becomes particularly powerful and effective. Little by little, you reduce the frequency and intensity of interactions with these individuals. You stop actively seeking out that contact, you create healthy distance, and you become less available for their demands on your time and energy. You don't need to make grand gestures, engage in confrontations, or start fights to accomplish this distancing. You simply stop being as readily available as you once were. This approach is profoundly liberating, and I can tell you this from personal experience. It's not because you're turning your back on the world or becoming antisocial, but because you're prioritizing your emotional and mental well-being above all else. Sometimes genuine self-love isn't just about saying no out loud and assertively. It's also about saying enough, quietly and privately, setting boundaries that protect your energy and peace of mind. So how can you identify these problematic relationships more clearly? The process is actually quite straightforward when you know what to look for. If every time you see a message from this person, you feel a knot forming in your stomach, if spending time with them leaves you more exhausted than a full week of intensive work, if you notice that you're always the one giving in the relationship while never receiving support, understanding, or genuine care in return, then you have your answer clearly laid out before you. Once you can see this pattern clearly and honestly, the process of elimination begins. You start this process without unnecessary drama, without lengthy explanations that might create more conflict, and without the need to justify your decisions to anyone. You simply move forward with your life, focusing on relationships and activities that truly nourish and fulfill you, rather than drain your essential life force. The conclusion here isn't about being cruel or heartless toward others. It's about respecting yourself enough to refuse to allow people to continue taking the energy that you could be using for relationships, activities, and pursuits that genuinely fill you with joy, purpose, and satisfaction. At the end of this process, the key lies in being completely honest with yourself and putting your well-being above guilt, fear, or the concern about potentially hurting others who may not have your best interests at heart. Keep this truth firmly in mind. Some people are like the wind. You can feel their presence and influence, but you cannot and should not try to hold on to them or force them to stay in your life. Sometimes the wisest and most loving thing you can do is simply let them pass through your experience and continue on their own journey while you focus on yours. Sometimes you might surprise yourself by noticing that you're doing small things that, when you examine them closely, you realize aren't taking you anywhere particularly good or meaningful. These are often things that seem harmless and innocent at first glance, But without you fully realizing their impact, they gradually wear away at your mental peace, physical health, or overall well-being. I've also fallen into this trap more times than I'd like to admit. Small, self-destructive habits that go unnoticed, like a constant drip that eventually carves through solid rock. But what happens when those habits become the rocks of our daily life? How do we eliminate them without making a big spectacle or dramatic show of our transformation? First, we need to recognize and acknowledge them clearly, and here's the challenge. It's not particularly difficult to point out what bothers us about other people's behavior, but when it comes to examining our own patterns and habits objectively, the situation becomes much more complex and uncomfortable. You wake up in the morning and, without thinking consciously about it, you reach for your phone. It's not for anything important or urgent, of course, just out of pure habit and routine, as if your finger were programmed to swipe across the screen before your brain has had a chance to fully wake up and become conscious. This might seem like a harmless habit at first glance, until you realize that you've lost 20 valuable minutes of your morning submerged in meaningless digital content, with your head already saturated and overwhelmed before you've even put one foot out of bed. That's just one example among many others that we engage in daily. We do this same pattern with so many aspects of our lives. That extra cup of coffee that you don't really need but drink anyway out of routine. That conversation you shouldn't have engaged in but did because it was familiar. That television series that isn't adding anything meaningful to your life, but you continue watching out of pure inertia and the path of least resistance. These are the small things that, over time, can create a significant hole in your overall well-being and sense of purpose. Now, eliminating these habits presents its own unique set of challenges, because let's be honest with ourselves, how many times have you promised yourself that you would stop doing something, only to end up doing it even more intensely than before? It's like when you declare, starting tomorrow I'm going to get serious about this, and then tomorrow arrives and it becomes just another day of excuses and rationalization. This is where the timeless lessons from the Stoics come into play with their practical wisdom. These philosophers of ancient Rome taught us that great transformations don't happen suddenly or all at once, but rather in small, often imperceptible steps. And these steps are silent, almost invisible to the outside world. You don't need to announce to everyone around you that you're going to change, nor do you need to make grand gestures or dramatic declarations. You simply begin by observing your patterns with honest awareness. The key lies in developing conscious awareness of your automatic behaviors. When you detect that your hand is reaching for your phone without any real purpose or reason, stop yourself in that moment. You don't need to throw your phone out the window, although I'm sure that would be quite cathartic for many of us. Simply leave it where it is and do something else instead. Something as simple as taking a deep breath and stretching your body mindfully. When you feel the urge to pour yourself that third cup of coffee of the day, pause and ask yourself honestly whether you really need it, or if it's just another automatic response driven by habit rather than genuine need. If the answer is that it's purely habitual behavior, then simply leave the cup where it is and choose a different action. Sometimes liberation can be as simple as that momentary pause and conscious choice. Eliminating self-destructive habits doesn't mean that you need to transform into a perfect person overnight, completely free from all human weaknesses and tendencies. We all have our small internal battles and ongoing struggles, and that's perfectly normal and acceptable. The important thing is to approach these challenges with a clear, practical strategy. Silence and consistency, like a drop of water that instead of gradually wearing away stone, slowly polishes and refines it over time. If you ever feel like you're not making progress or moving forward as quickly as you'd like, consider this perspective. What is now a small effort and conscious choice will, with time and repetition, become a significant victory and positive transformation. You might not notice the changes immediately, but it's like planting a seed and then forgetting about it until one day, without making any noise or announcement, it has grown into a strong, beautiful tree. The same principle applies to these small changes in your daily habits and routines. So the next time you identify one of those habits that subtract more from your life than they add, eliminate it quietly and consistently. You don't need to announce your intentions or make a grand show of your transformation. Just let go of the habit step by step, drop by drop, with patience and persistence. Have you ever felt that if you don't have absolute control over everything that happens around you, your entire world will collapse into chaos? I completely understand this feeling, and you're not alone in experiencing it. We like to think that if we organize every detail meticulously, if we plan and prevent even the smallest possible complications, life will become a perfectly oiled machine where nothing ever goes wrong or catches us off guard. What an absurd and impossible idea this is, yet there we are, caught in this mental game, believing that we can dominate and control everything that happens to us. This is a trap, a mirage that becomes more convincing the harder we try to grasp it. The worst part is that the more we attempt to hold on to control, the more we feel like we're losing our balance and stability. So let me ask you this important question. What if we let go of that obsessive need for control? You know, that compulsive habit of wanting everything to be exactly as we imagine it should be. The desire to control everything is nothing more than a mental prison, one that we build brick by brick every time we think that if we just try hard enough, things will turn out exactly as we planned them. But here's the reality check we all need. The universe doesn't operate according to our personal schedules and expectations, and Stoic philosophy, that ancient wisdom that seems more relevant and applicable than ever in our modern world, teaches us that the key isn't in controlling what we cannot control, but in releasing what's unnecessary and focusing our energy on what actually depends on us and our choices. Think about this honestly. We try to control time itself, other people's opinions and reactions, the outcomes of our efforts, the responses we receive, essentially everything that doesn't directly depend on our actions and decisions. It's like trying to stop the ocean tide with our bare hands, a completely senseless endeavor, but we do it constantly and consistently. And the worst part is that every time something doesn't go according to our expectations, we become frustrated and angry, as if it were some kind of cosmic injustice specifically directed at us. Imagine that you're walking through life carrying a backpack, and every time you try to control something that's beyond your reach, you put a heavy stone inside that backpack. At first, maybe it doesn't bother you too much. You can handle the extra weight. But as time passes, the backpack becomes heavier and heavier until it eventually crushes you under its impossible burden. Wouldn't it be better to get rid of those stones, to leave space for what really matters, for what you can actually manage and influence, your emotions, your actions, your responses, and your decisions? For a long time, I was obsessed with anticipating everything that could possibly go wrong in my life. If I had an important work meeting coming up, I was already mentally rehearsing all the possible uncomfortable questions that might be asked. If I was organizing a social gathering with friends, I worried about whether the location would be adequate, whether something might go wrong, whether everyone would have a good time. It was absolutely exhausting, and of course, half of the things that worried me never actually happened. Eventually, I realized that this effort to anticipate and control everything wasn't giving me more actual control over outcomes. Instead, it was giving me significantly more anxiety and stress. So gradually, I began to let go, to trust more in the natural process of life and events. And what happened? Things continued to happen just as they always had. Sometimes they went well, sometimes they didn't go as planned, but I felt much lighter and more at peace because I had stopped carrying the burden of responsibility for things that weren't actually my responsibility to control. Learning to trust in life's natural flow doesn't mean becoming passive, irresponsible, or indifferent to outcomes. It's about having the emotional maturity to accept that there are many things that escape our direct influence, and that this reality is not only acceptable, but actually liberating when we embrace it fully. Eliminate from your life, quietly and gradually, that compulsive need to control every detail and outcome. Leave space for the unexpected, for surprise, for things that are completely outside your hands, and trust that this is perfectly fine and natural. This doesn't mean you should just lie down on the couch and watch life pass by without any engagement or effort. It's about freeing yourself from unnecessary weight, about accepting that there's a significant part of life's journey that simply doesn't depend on your direct control, and that's not only okay, it's actually liberating and freeing when you learn to embrace this truth. Remember this essential wisdom. Sometimes letting go is the most powerful way to take real control over your life and circumstances. The true control that Stoic philosophy speaks about resides in our capacity to release what is uncontrollable and focus our energy where it can actually make a meaningful difference. I don't know about you, but I spent a considerable part of my life believing that I had to be perfect in everything I attempted. Nobody explicitly asked this of me, but the expectation was there, floating in the air, hovering between well-intentioned comments, looks of approval, and that constant, silent comparison with others that seemed to permeate every aspect of daily life. I grew up with the firm conviction that meeting other people's expectations, and worse yet, meeting my own impossibly high standards, was synonymous with success and personal worth. What a tremendous lie and burden this turned out to be. If you really think about it carefully, trying to fulfill unrealistic expectations is like attempting to fill a bottomless well with a bucket that has holes in it. You never finish the task, you're always exhausted from the effort, and in the end, all that remains is a sad puddle of frustration at your feet, along with the bitter taste of never being quite good enough, no matter how hard you try. The most curious and frustrating aspect of this pattern is that many of these impossible expectations aren't even originally ours. They're constructed and imposed by others, family members, friends, society at large, social media, and of course, we accept them because in our sincere desire to improve ourselves and be better people, we decide that we must comply with these external standards of success and worthiness. I want you to try a quick mental exercise that might be quite revealing. How many times have you felt disappointed in yourself for not meeting a standard or achieving a goal that, when you really examine it honestly, you didn't actually want to pursue in the first place? Think about this carefully. How often have you felt like a failure for not being the absolute best at your job, the perfect partner in your relationship, the ideal friend who never disappoints, or the exemplary child who always makes the right choices? Eventually, these accumulated expectations end up weighing more than your actual actions and authentic desires. It's like going to run a race while carrying a backpack full of heavy stones. You move slower, you get tired much faster, and even if you manage to reach the finish line, you feel like you dragged yourself there rather than running with grace and strength. What's the point of that kind of hollow victory? This is where Stoic philosophy offers us a brilliant and refreshing perspective on this universal human struggle. According to the Stoics, you cannot control what other people think about you, nor can you guarantee that the universe will align perfectly with your plans and desires. What you can do, however, is control how you react to these external circumstances and, most importantly, how you set and pursue your own standards and goals. The key insight here lies in reducing the burden of unrealistic expectations rather than simply accepting them as unchangeable facts of life. Lower those suffocating expectations that are crushing your spirit and preventing you from enjoying your journey. This doesn't mean that you're settling for mediocrity or giving up on growth and improvement. Instead, it means that you're liberating yourself from the constant pressure to achieve the impossible, and you're simply existing and moving forward at a pace that feels natural and sustainable for you. The magical transformation, of course, doesn't happen overnight. This isn't a quick fix or instant solution. I'm not suggesting that you throw all your expectations and goals out the window from one day to the next. This process is more like cleaning out a closet that's been filled with old clothes for years. First, you look at each item and decide which pieces no longer fit you properly, which ones you never really liked in the first place, and you gradually get rid of them one piece at a time. Sometimes it's difficult to let go of a particular expectation that you think you might need someday, but deep down you know you'll never actually pursue it. The same principle applies to unrealistic expectations. Start by eliminating those that don't truly belong to you. Then review your own personal standards and ask yourself honestly whether they're realistic and achievable given your current circumstances and resources. One practical approach you can use to lower expectations without creating drama or internal conflict is to change the way you talk to yourself about your goals and performance. For example, instead of telling yourself, "I must do everything perfectly," try saying, "I will do the best I can with what I have available right now." This might sound simple, but it's incredibly liberating because it leaves room for human error, which is natural and inevitable, and for the possibility of improvement and growth without the crushing pressure of perfectionism. Here's an infallible strategy that has worked wonders in my own life. Don't tell everyone about your plans and goals before you've had a chance to work on them privately. The less noise you make about your intentions, the fewer external expectations others will generate about what you should accomplish. Because ultimately, those external expectations are nothing more than noise, distracting, unnecessary noise that pulls your attention away from what really matters. Eliminate quietly and consistently what doesn't add value to your life, and you'll see how things begin to flow much more naturally and peacefully. Releasing unrealistic expectations isn't giving up or surrendering your dreams. It's an act of wisdom and self-compassion. Instead of focusing on what you should do or become according to external standards, concentrate on what you genuinely want to achieve and what you can realistically control and influence. Less expectations equal more freedom, more peace of mind, and more authentic satisfaction with your actual accomplishments. Engrave this truth deeply in your mind and heart. The less you expect from yourself and others, the lighter and more joyful you become. When you stop carrying the impossible burden of meeting every expectation, you can finally focus on living according to your own values and pursuing goals that truly matter to you. Have you noticed that you have a particular habit or compulsion, this almost obsessive need to always be right, to be the know-it-all who has all the answers in every situation. It's like every conversation becomes a battlefield where the ultimate victory is proving that you possess the final word and ultimate truth. You know what I'm talking about. That silent but relentless war where winning means demonstrating that you know more than everyone else around you. The worst part of this exhausting pattern is that this war you're fighting isn't really with other people. It's an internal battle with yourself. Every time you insist that you're the one who has the correct answer or the superior perspective, it's as if you're trying to convince yourself that your value as a person depends on being right all the time. Doesn't this constant need to prove yourself get tiring? I know it exhausts me just thinking about it. We've been conditioned and taught to believe that we should always have the correct response ready, as if making a mistake or being wrong about something were a sign of weakness or personal failure. Society, social media platforms, and even family gatherings seem to push us toward thinking that error is synonymous with failure and inadequacy. But let me share a secret with you that might change your perspective. Sometimes being right is the least important thing in life, and certainly not worth the energy and stress we invest in it. Stoic philosophy speaks directly to this issue by teaching us to accept what we cannot control. And let me tell you something important. You cannot control other people's perceptions of you or their opinions about your knowledge and capabilities. That endless race to prove that you know everything will not take you anywhere meaningful. It will only leave you more anxious, more frustrated, and ultimately more isolated and alone. You should eliminate from your life, quietly and without fanfare, that compulsive need to always be the smartest person in the room. In fact, I invite you to ask yourself this crucial question. What do I actually gain by always being right? Do I get some kind of invisible medal or recognition? I don't think so. It's like carrying a suitcase full of unnecessary stones, and with each argument you win, each opinion you impose on others, you're adding another heavy stone to your load. There comes a point when the weight becomes unbearable, and you don't understand why you feel so emotionally and mentally exhausted. The answer is simple. You're wearing yourself out, fighting for something that has no real value or lasting significance. You're spending your precious energy proving points that, in the grand scheme of things, don't matter nearly as much as you think they do. The next time you feel that urgent compulsion to prove that you're right about something, try remaining silent instead. Not out of resignation or defeat, but out of liberation and wisdom. It's like when you finally drop a pen that you've been gripping tightly for hours. At first, you might not even realize you were holding it, but when you finally let it go, what an incredible relief. You suddenly feel a relaxation and ease that you didn't even know you needed. The same thing happens with the need to always be right. When you release that burden, you realize that you were actually trapped in a war that you didn't want to fight in the first place. So how do you let go of this compulsive need to win every intellectual battle? The first step is accepting that you don't always have to be the person who knows the most about every subject. It's perfectly fine to be wrong sometimes, or even to not have a solid opinion about every topic that comes up in conversation. You're not participating in a wisdom contest where your value as a person is determined by how much you know or how often you can prove others wrong. The second step is learning to listen with genuine intent to understand, not just to find opportunities to refute or correct others. There's a significant difference between hearing words and truly listening to understand another person's perspective. Hearing is simply a basic biological function, while listening with empathy and openness is an art that few people master. When you listen with genuine interest and curiosity, you stop feeling that anxiety and compulsion to correct or impose your viewpoint on others. Finally, learn to appreciate and enjoy silence, pauses, and moments when no response or correction is necessary. Sometimes the most powerful argument is simply allowing others to have the last word, because ultimately, winning a discussion is not the same as having inner peace and contentment. So I ask you, is it worth always being correct at the cost of your tranquility and mental peace? I personally don't think so. The next time you're in a conversation and feel that familiar urge to correct someone or impose your opinion, take a deep breath, mentally drop that pen you've been clutching, and let the moment pass without engaging in battle. The peace and serenity you'll feel will be much more valuable than any momentary victory in a meaningless argument. And if it helps provide some comfort, think about the Stoics and their approach to these situations. They understood that true wisdom isn't found in winning every battle, but in knowing when not to fight at all. As Seneca wisely said, true knowledge isn't in winning all battles, but in knowing when not to engage in combat. Have you become aware of how suddenly you're living surrounded by digital noise and constant electronic stimulation? I'm not just talking about the cars passing by your street or the neighbor who drills holes in the wall at inappropriate hours, but about that other kind of noise, the kind that lives inside your pocket, in your hands, constantly in front of your eyes. Social media platforms, endless notifications, messages that never stop arriving. It seems like everything is designed to distract you, to keep you in a constant state of alert and reactive responding. And there you are, thinking that you have control over this digital chaos, when in reality, the electronic pandemonium is the one controlling you, your attention, your thoughts, and your emotional state throughout each day. The truth is that we live in an era where silence and genuine peace of mind have become luxury items, but this luxury isn't as unapt